Welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 181 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson.
Hey, what's going on?
And Everett.
Hey, what's up?
This week the team reviews Spider-Man Far From Home, followed by movie, television, and video game news. If you have not seen the review of the week and would like to avoid spoilers, check the show notes for the timestamps so you can still hear our news sections. Now on to our review of the week. Peter Parker's relaxing European vacation takes an unexpected turn when Nick Fury shows up in his hotel room to recruit him for a mission. The world is in danger as four massive elemental creatures, each representing earth, air, water, and fire, emerge from a hole torn in the universe. Parker soon finds himself donning the Spider-Man suit to help Fury and fellow superhero Mysterio stop the evil entities from wreaking havoc across the continent. I'm going to explain our rating system. On this show, we give the titles that we have watched a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love but recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. All right, does anyone want to go first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I give this a win. There's a lot of things I like about it, specifically with the effects, with the story, with the acting. I still think it has some of the same problems of the last movie, in the sense that sometimes when Peter is alone or when he's not interacting with these other characters, it's less interesting, and I'm basically just waiting for him to interact with these other people, because I think that's way more interesting and way more stimulating. But overall, I'd say that I enjoyed this more than Far From Home as a whole of a movie. Yeah. Homecoming as a whole movie. The highs of Homecoming and the highs of this are similar to me, but as a movie itself, I think this is better than Homecoming is. So, win for me.
All right, Everett?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a win as well. And I'm going to go so far as to say I definitely think we should have given this movie of the year last year instead of Aladdin. Just because rewatching it, this movie is so fun. Yeah, Emerson's right, it does have a couple of the same problems from the last one. But it adds so much more that I think that kind of doesn't matter at points. Like, if it has great acting from everybody involved. Mysterio, I think, is one of the best villains that we've seen in the MCU in a long time. Jake Gyllenhaal plays him perfectly. And upon rewatches, you can see all the little secrets they added with him. MJ and Peter have better chemistry than all of the Amazing Spider-Man combined. They have great Easter eggs. It had one of the best suit designs I think we've ever seen. It had a great mix of comedy and drama. The illusions were great to watch. And we'll talk about it, I'm sure, but I think this end credit scene for this movie, like that whole sequence, the last 10 minutes of this movie, I think, is one of the best experiences I've ever seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I want to talk about that in depth when we get there, but they also, they kind of overdid it with the teacher bits, I thought. And, Sam Jackson, I think, wasn't really as good in this as he is in other roles. And we need more city swinging. Those are my only nitpicks so far. But I'm sure we'll rip this movie apart. But, yeah, it's a win for me.
You're sure we'll rip it apart? Why?
Damn, well, Everett really went into rant mode at the end there.
Yeah, sorry, I made a list and I was just going down it. But we rip every movie apart. I'm assuming we'll nitpick the shit out of it.
All right, I mean, I give it a win. I thought that it was extremely well done. I pretty much agree with all of you in some capacity. Like, I agree with Emerson that Peter Parker on his own is not interesting. I mean, he should be, like, in general as a character. But this version is just like, he needs to bounce off something. And I still can't tell you what his personality is, other than just like, I don't want to let the people down. Oh, no, like, I don't know. Like, he's still hitting that same note, and he's been in 4 movies now. 5 movies? Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home. Still the same note, and only now is he like, I'm going to be my own person or something. He doesn't really accept it at the end, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing is that, like, even when he's trying to be his own person, like...
Well, we'll just go into spoilers now.
Yeah, well, one thing I was going to say, I think the difficulty with him is with all the other Spider-Mans we've been watching these last few movies, they're introduced on their own. It's them. That's it. This Spider-Man was introduced in a Captain America movie that's centered on the relationship between Captain America and Iron Man. So already you've got a problem there. Not necessarily in like, oh, this character can't work, but the problem in the sense that he is introduced playing off these other people. Then he gets his solo movie, but his solo movie could almost be an Iron Man movie or a Vulture movie. Then you get Infinity War Endgame. Those are not his movies. Those are the group's movies. And then you get this, which once again, there are a couple key characters which really steal the show. Mysterio, I mean, in theory, Nick Fury, but I'm going to talk about how angry I am about the ending. But once again, he doesn't really stand on his own because there's nothing like, what do we really know, or what does he have that isn't related to someone else?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, if you make a third one where he's sort of like battling for his own life at that point, like in terms of it's about him now. It's not about Mr. Stark or Mysterio or whatever, the Thanos trying to kill everyone. It's not about that. It's now about what Peter wants and like what he's going to lose essentially. If you make that story, he has to have a character. So he has to have an actual personality. He has to have wants and needs that are like not that same note because those people aren't there anymore. So it'll be interesting. I have a lot of confidence in the director. I didn't when Homecoming first came out, but I do now, especially after this movie. And while I'm not like too keen on the things that we've heard about the new Spider-Man movie, I still trust the guy. Like, he does a good job with pretty much everyone but Spider-Man, which is also something that you could have said about Nolan and Batman, is that literally everyone around Batman is, like, extremely well done, and Batman's kind of, like, the one-note, underdeveloped kind of character. And then whatever it said is, like, I think the movie's a lot of fun. I don't know. I think we voted for Aladdin because we had a lot more fun in the theater.
Well, the other thing is I think Aladdin was interesting because there was a lot of, at least from my point of view, I expected it to be garbage. Like, they're remaking this, like we were talking about, well, Robin Williams is gone. What are they going to do with the songs? And, you know, since we saw like something like Mulan, we could see how badly Aladdin could have gone. Or like something like Lion King where it's just like mediocre. Whereas Aladdin just like, I don't know, it kind of came out of left field.
That's true. In hindsight, Aladdin was like a pure gem compared to the other ones. Whereas this one too, like when you tell me he's going on a European vacation, I'm like, what? Why? That's not Spider-Man. Like that's what I thought, I think, going into it. So this was also a really pleasant surprise. Also, the Mysterio twist is like fantastic. And that thing about it, the director has pulled off two major twists like that with Vulture and now Mysterio.
Well, I somewhat wish we didn't, because like I think all of us went in knowing Mysterio was a bad guy the first time we watched it, right?
Yeah, I mean you kind of shut yourself off in the movie, like you try to be like,
but you know, like it's gonna happen. I wonder what it's like for these people who are not like they don't really know, and they just went in thinking he's a new fan.
Jade is one of those people. Like she kind of knows Mysterio's a villain, but she doesn't really know Spider-Man's villains. And I think for a lot of them, they just didn't care. Like, they don't care who the new Iron Man is. You know what I mean? I remember
watching this with my mom, and she was like, is Jake Gyllenhaal a villain? And I was like, no, he's the new hero. Like, he got brought in. And she was like, oh, he must be happy. And then, like, when the twist happened, she hit me. Because she was, like, upset that he was evil now. And I was like, all right. Well. But see, I kind of like that not knowing and then getting that like, oh, shit. Like,
yeah, it's cool. And I think part of it is your mom knows because she's probably seen a lot of movies. She's like, there's got to be the bad guy. The movie doesn't have a bad guy.
Right.
And then they defeat the bad guy like halfway through. So also, there has to be a bad guy. Yeah.
It's also a testament to good writing when you know he's a bad guy going in and they still manage to surprise you with the twist.
Well, the best part of it, for me, the best part was the part where they say it's a multiverse, because all the little comic douches were like losing their shit over that. Oh my god, it's the multiverse, Mysterio. And then he specifically
It's just
says,
all a lie.
he's like,
Yeah.
that's exactly the kind of stupid thing people will believe right now. Like that's a straight shot. Like they knew exactly what they were doing. They got all the fans riled up for the multiverse, and then you also, because it's a multiverse, you kind of have to accept that, okay, maybe in one version of the multiverse, Mysterio's a good
He's
guy.
a good guy, yeah.
And then there's probably still going to be a bad Mysterio. But that didn't mean that they weren't buying into what was happening in that first part of the movie, the first half.
They'll attempt
And
to
thank
justify it
God-
however they can.
Thank God they like were like, fuck you, it doesn't exist. Because I don't know about you guys, but in general, I don't really like the idea of a multiverse. That just
No, you
it
lose
becomes
control.
redundant and
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah,
It's like when a business opens up too many stores and like quality goes down.
yeah.
It's like there's too much right now. You used to make a good thing. It was like we were all on top of it. It was growing like at a steady pace, and then you just exploded it. And
Yeah,
now everything's all over. Yeah.
I like it in concept, like the concept of multiple universes.
Why?
It's cool.
No,
I like
it's not.
I like the concept of it, but let me
That's
finish.
ridiculous.
Let me finish.
But hold on. That's insane. Multiple universes. Where does that end? How many universes? Infinite?
Infinite, which means that there's a universe where Spider-Man has 4 fingers and 3 fingers and
If
2
you even-
fingers and 1 finger
Yeah.
and no
If you
Can I-
even
can I
dip your
finish
toe
my
into
thought,
that,
please?
Hold on. If you even dip your toe
Kill him.
into another
Kill him.
universe, you've opened like a door that you can never close.
kill him.
Yes,
kill
I
him.
know. That is what I was about
Put
to
the
say.
spear through Everett's chest.
Okay, as I'm saying, I like the concept. However, it's like
Why?
it's like time travel.
Take him down. Don't let him finish. Attack.
It's like time travel. What we were talking about with Endgame, how it's a really shitty plot point to use, because you're right. It opens up all the doors to BS and it loses control.
Well, time travel is along those lines, but the thing about time travel is there's usually like a device that can be destroyed, or like, you know, something like that where you can close the door on it. When you
Just
say
to-
multiverse, how can you like?
Just to try to bridge the gap between Everett and you for a moment, I agree that multiple universes is retarded. What I think works better is dimensional stuff, like what we see in Doctor Strange, where there's like, okay, here's a parallel dimension which is completely different. And the dimension doesn't necessarily have a copy of everybody in it. It's its own thing. Like Dormammu's Dark World, that worked. I don't have an issue with him going there. Or the mirror dimension, which is just
Yeah.
ours but mirrored.
Those are
Because
yeah.
you keep control even though you have this different thing. What's going to be interesting, though, is what they do in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. No, you made the right point, which is, so what do we do about the universe where Peter Parker doesn't have his pinky toe? Are you saying that that's literally the same universe, and you're telling me that exists? And if like our universe, Peter was able to open the door, why wouldn't the other ones be able to open the door at any time at some point?
Because they need their pinky.
I mean, yeah, like it's weird. It's weird.
It's massive convenience because it gives the people the laziness to say, hey, if you can think it, there's a universe out there where it
Exactly.
exists. So we can
Exactly.
pull from whatever we want to get whatever we want with no
That is
consequence.
exactly why fucking nerds like it. And if someone's listening who likes it, I'm sure you're a great person.
But
Fuck you.
that's also the same reason why it's not just that they like that it's could be whatever they want. They like the idea of more power. Like these are the people that will sit there and be like, Captain Marvel's a great character. She's the strongest Avenger. It's like that doesn't make her a great character.
But even more than that, what they like is they like the idea of being able to do stuff with no consequence. Because that's what multiple universes do. You can kill
That
someone.
too.
You
Yeah,
can bring
that's true.
someone else.
I
You
hate
can blow
that.
up a
Yeah.
planet.
I'm in the exact
Like-
opposite
Yeah,
camp.
there's
like-
no stakes.
Yeah, and I mean, and also think about like, there's Tony Stark in all those multiverses too, probably. Which I don't like. Don't undermine any of that. All right, what about that first scene with Mysterio in the desert and the ground elemental, the earth
So
elemental?
I remember there was some controversy about that. Wasn't that shown at the end of a screening of Endgame or something?
I think it was, but it wasn't like an official post-credit sequence. It was just like
Tacked on thing.
it was like part of the re-release or something.
Yeah. So it was shown. It was okay, but I don't know. I think I would have liked the movie slightly better if it just wasn't there.
Well,
I understand
it's
why it
100%
was.
a post-credit sequence. Like you
Yeah.
could just tell by the how short it is and by what it tells you. It tells you nothing. It says there's Mysterio, he's a good guy. There's a monster, Nick Fury's on it. It's gonna lead to something. Like that's a post credit sequence in every way. So they clearly didn't. They chose not to use it. Maybe they thought they were giving it away or something.
Well, I
And
assume they thought it would be cheap ending Endgame with like that.
I think it would be good. It's a good post credit sequence. I think it's as far as post credit sequences go, compared to the one in this movie where it's just like the scrolls, but they're not doing anything. They're just like
Yeah, that was. Oh,
it's
God.
us. Like that's it. They're just like it's us. So you take something like this, and I'm like, that's a pretty meaty thing that you put in there. It doesn't tell me anything about the plot. I mean, that the synopsis doesn't tell you, right? So
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the last Marvel movie to come out in theaters recently, right?
yeah. So I actually I think that this belonged as a post credit sequence, and it's also just weird the way that the movie starts. Like it starts with this, then it hits the Marvel thing, and then it goes into that the what's it called when you
The fundraiser.
when they show like all the people that
The
died.
memorial
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
or the tribute.
Yeah, the tribute video. So I think the movie starts way better when you kick in with that "I Will Always Love You" song.
Yeah, I agree because it's jarring to go from this sequence that's like
It is.
basically a hook to.
So I'm wondering what happened there, because they clearly intended that as a post credit. So I thought that was interesting. I also really like the tribute, like the fact that they put Tony
It was
Stark.
funny.
It
was funny.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the little scenes of people dusting, and I like how they get around. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird that everybody's like older than us now.
That's
but
a really
whatever.
funny dynamic to explore.
Yeah, I agree. That's a super funny idea. Like, my little brother is my older brother now. Like, what the
Or
fuck?
my wife pretended to disappear, but really she
Yeah,
ran
that
away with
was. I
someone
liked
else.
that joke. I liked that joke.
So I also think that that was a really good way to kind of, because I watch Endgame and I feel like it was like Tony Stark died and no one else. Even though other people died, but it's always like, how much did they die really? Like,
Yeah, they got brought back.
but I like that the body count that you kind of see, like, yeah, Tony's gone, Cap is gone, Black Widow is gone, Vision is gone, supposedly. I mean, we know that they're not gone, but it does sort of. It's nice that the universe kind of establishes, like, for now, these people are all gone.
Yeah.
Um,
And that there's some like change that is referenced from the events of Infinity War Endgame. Like, oh, we're still dealing with the aftermath. Like, it's the society's kind of weird now. Like,
Yeah. I actually hope that we at some point get a movie of like a hero during the snap,
that would be so cool. Because it should be like chaos, like
Yeah.
the end of time.
and like a villain trying to capitalize on the chaos. And I want that. I want to see that. It could be. I mean, what villain should do that? I mean, what hero?
I mean, Shang-Chi maybe could. Like, they're doing their own thing and they're part
That
of the
could be
world.
cool if that was set during the snap.
Yeah. And like all the other heroes are either near Wakanda or in space or something.
Because isn't it a tournament for like the strongest people in the world?
Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna say this cool idea and then it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna not like the movie. But if like all like half of the best fighters were gone, so they had to have a tournament to reestablish like the pecking order.
Yeah.
And
there's
who-
like
yeah.
some bad dudes coming out.
Yeah. And it's like Shang-Chi wasn't the best, but now that some of them are gone, like maybe he is. Just something to explore, because what's going to happen is they're going to say like the tournament is to determine the best, and they're probably going to address the snap in some way that doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to be like, why didn't they just do it a little further?
Yeah.
You know what would have been interesting? Maybe if they had saved the whole Defenders thing for like this era. Because the world's grittier, it seems. Like, it's dirtier. Like,
When you say saved, you act like they... you act like that the timing of Defenders was like somehow planned in a way to be most effective.
well, it wasn't planned at all. Like, you're
Yeah,
right.
It's garbage.
It is garbage, but I would have much rather preferred them in a setting like this.
I think you got to soft reboot the Defenders.
Yeah.
Like, you can keep the casting, although you got to remember when Charlie
Well, if you
Cox,
do that, you got to do that to the Punisher too.
Yeah, soft reboot him. Yeah, I mean, what is he now?
I'm a ghost too.
What was the resolution of that season?
Of what? Of
Punisher season 2. Like,
No,
what
Don't
year
you
was he
remember?
in?
Do you not remember what happens?
I
He
don't.
like shows up at he's in like this crappy
yeah.
little warehouse, and he like shows up to this drug deal between like two gangs or something. They all have guns. He comes out with a fucking pistol. The Punisher. He doesn't have an M16. He walks right at him and he goes, "I'm the Punisher." And then the music starts playing as he like shoots, and then it goes to black.
Yeah, so that's essentially a soft reboot already. Like, he's basically just Punisher again. But I think you kind of say, like, it's not that those other seasons didn't happen, but like, we're just gonna move on from those, because Daredevil's the hardest one. Like, people don't realize, because they think, oh, 3 seasons, like, we could do a 4th season in the MCU, that'll be so cool. They've done all his arcs. They've done the best Daredevil stuff, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So, and also, when Charlie Cox was cast, that was a long time ago. What year was season 1? Do you guys remember?
Oh, God. No. Let me look
let's
it up.
find out.
I was living in that, like, crappy apartment. I remember that.
Daredevil season 1 was released in 2015.
All right, so how
5 years ago.
old is Charlie Cox now?
I'll let Everett Google foo it.
Charlie Cox is 37.
Yeah, that ain't no spring chicken. I mean, 37, he's almost 40. You assume by the time it comes out, he's going to be 39.
Yeah.
Or, by the time they, like, actually do stuff, you know? You're going to start Daredevil in the MCU as 39 years old? Even if he's supposed to be younger on screen. Also, he's a good actor, but, the season 3's fighting, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need to bring up season 3. Season 3 was awful.
I'd be fine with, like, a whole new thing. Anyway, you got to reboot him. I don't even know that you need Iron Fist when there's Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I think he needs to be taken away.
They need to be, like, blended together.
That's what they should do. That in the Shang-Chi movie, he should show up as one of the fighters and get his ass kicked.
I like Luke Cage as a villain. Like, running Harlem.
I mean, we never really got to see him as a villain.
Yeah.
He became it, but like...
Yeah, right. I'm saying, like, that's not the worst way to go. Not like sort of like an anti-hero. He doesn't have to be the good guy, but people won't like that. But I liked him as a mob boss, like, sort of like leaning into the evil side. I think Fisk should come back. Although I don't know what you do with him at this point. Like, you've already done
who's he going to fight? You'd have to scale him up so much.
I mean, you could... Yeah. That's because in the comics, Spider-Man does have trouble with him. But not this version of Spider-Man. The way that he is now
He would like destroy him.
I mean, he doesn't even have to destroy him. It would be like an adult fighting a toddler. Like, just web him. Just web him up. That's it. Done. Anyway. So I would say, if not for Mysterio, I would say, and everyone might disagree, I think that the teacher, Martin Starr, is the best part of this movie.
Everett?
Okay. He's funny, but I think
Defend your point, coward.
I think he's funny, but I think they overdo him a little bit in this movie. He was perfect in the last one. They gave him like 3 jokes that hit really well. In this, I feel like that's just his entire character now. Like, it's joke every single time he's on screen.
But he's hilarious every time he's on screen.
He is pretty funny, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I don't think he's there too much.
What's one thing that he did that wasn't funny and was like, it should have taken that out?
I don't. His banter with the other teacher, I wasn't really a big fan of. Well,
the banter's the best part. Like, JB Smoove.
All he did was he kept bringing up witches the entire time, and it
yeah,
got
that's the
old
other guy.
after,
That's JB Smoove. I'm talking about Martin Starr.
I don't know.
And also, half the witches' lines, like, only one was to Martin Starr. The rest of the time was like he said it to Peter, and he said it to like random people. Defend it, Everett.
Okay. How can I describe this? Like, you're right that he's funny. Like, most of his jokes are really good. However, it's the repetition of them. Like, I found myself one after another. Like, he's on the plane talking to Peter about his wife. I thought that was really funny. They get to Italy and they're like sad about the hotel. Like, all these different things one by one. They're all funny individually, but it's the repetition of it. It's too much.
Too much of what? Good humor?
I didn't really find it that funny at times.
Like, what didn't you find funny? I asked you that.
Okay.
Then you said witches, which was the other guy.
I honestly, I really don't know. Honestly, I can't. Really, I can't properly explain it.
Yeah, okay, because the answer is that you just get rubbed the wrong way by certain people for some reason, and like that's just it.
I mean,
We'll
what's
write
wrong
it
with
down
me?
with the Monopoly Man. And...
What's wrong with me saying that I just don't find him that funny at times?
There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm asking you, like, we're trying to debate and analyze the movie, and I'm asking you, tell me something he did that wasn't funny, and you say, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, like, I'm trying to remember specific jokes that he made. The only ones that I can remember are...
I mean, this is one of the few criticisms you had of the movie.
Yeah, that, like... Okay, I guess I can say he's forgettable because that's what's
What?
saying right now. For me, I don't really remember that much. I remember the plane one. The plane one's funny.
Well, isn't that kind of the point, though? Is like, his jokes were funny, and yet they didn't, like, dominate the movie.
When he tries to take a picture and he drops the camera, like, into the water,
Yeah.
like, and it, like, you know it's going to happen, but he doesn't immediately drop it.
But, like, isn't the fact that you don't really remember kind of proof that he didn't dominate the movie and didn't, like, overstay his welcome?
That's why I liked it in the last movie. They gave him 3 jokes. He was not really a main character, and every single joke was funny.
Okay, but, like, remember when Andrew Garfield was acting all weird with Gwen Stacy and we hated it the whole time?
Yeah, but yeah. Okay.
So that is like an example of like something that didn't work in a film that should have been like trimmed down. And so this guy, like, if you can't remember, then that means it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too much. I mean, I mean,
don't
Emerson,
know.
do you have anything that like you think he did that wasn't funny?
Not really. Like, I thought he was funny. I also thought the witch guy was funny, too. Like, I liked both
I liked
of them.
him.
To be quite
I think
honest.
I had higher expectations for JB Smoove because of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was okay. Like, I think he probably peaked when he like got into Betty Brant's picture. And aside from that, I don't think he was really funny. Like, he did the Ambien joke before that.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't really have an issue with him. I think this might be one of those strange hills that Everett dies on.
Yeah. I mean, so the reason I even brought it up was because I was going to say this movie has a lot in it. It's like packed tight, but not everything is like a massive plot development. So there's like just so many things. Like it's cool that he has the Iron Spider suit charging in his room. He chooses not to take it. But I was going to say that airplane sequence, just like when they're on the plane, is probably one of the funniest sequences of the whole movie. And I would say it's directly because of the teacher. Would you guys agree, or
Yeah.
are you guys still there?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I'm thinking about it. I would agree.
He hears the allergy thing, and he immediately pops up from the chair. Like, you don't even see it. He's like, what?
Yeah.
And then he starts moving everyone around, like, just like,
Yeah.
Like that's something like Falk would have done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of.
He
Or,
rings really true for me, like, as a
And
teacher.
I remember, like, on the DC trips in, like, 8th grade, we had people like that who were, like, just out of control. And also, like, I like that joke. I mean, he's only part of it when, like, everybody's bothering and interrupting Fury. Like, it's funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but so, like, for me, this is the kind of teacher, which everyone knows, like, you end up going on these class trips or something. This is a person that you would never travel with or ever spend time with, and yet he's in charge. And, like, there you are with him for, like, an extended period of time. And all his, like, weird idiosyncrasies are, like, showing up even more. And then he sits next to Peter. He, like, falls asleep on his shoulder. He wants to share the audio with him. He talks about his dead wife and, his life, like, oversharing. Like, Peter doesn't want to hear about his personal life. I think he's really funny. And then he continues, like, later when they're on the bus in London, and what's his name, Julius? I don't remember the teacher's name, but he's like, don't drag me into this. I'm not taking care of these kids or something. And,
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
Martin Starr's like, I'm doing my best, Julius. It's funny. The guy hits every note, if you ask me. The only thing about this that I really have to complain about is, like, he loses Peter like 9 times in Europe.
And he, like, he doesn't really...
They
like,
keep
he's like,
going
oh, he's
to
gone.
other countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go to London when you're missing a student?
No. They explain that. They say that his
Yeah,
aunt
he's going
picked
to
him up.
go with his family. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
They
can't
say
just.
that his family came out. and
He's
got him.
missing. He's gone missing several times already. You have to see the aunt. There's no way.
Yeah, but movie nonsense.
To be honest, I think they could have like shown that because Marissa Tomei's in on it. Aunt May's in on it. So like
Yeah, but then they
Fury-
would have had to like bring her out, and
Yeah.
then like her and Happy would have been.
So we see a little more of Marissa Tomei, and she's like helping him on the mission, like saying good luck, and drops him off in Berlin. Also,
Yeah, it's not
I have
horrible.
another gripe with this. That part where Nick Fury is in the car and he picks him up in Berlin, but it's like not Nick Fury.
Yeah.
How could they have faked that?
It's
Well, I assumed it was a
Mysterio.
real car.
So
car.
the drones
and-
are projecting into the car on
Yeah.
all angles.
Yeah, like around it because they drove them because they faked the whole building. They drove into the building. They walked up the stairs into the.
Well, yeah, but
Like-
you can see how they do the building, but like the car seat blocks, like the light would not hit from the
I guess you
projector.
could have stuffed one in the back seat.
Well, the monsters are like moving through buildings.
Yeah, but they're also all outside. You're talking about indoors, and Peter's right next to him, and also like, where's the projection from Peter's side?
Yeah.
You know what I'm kind of thinking of?
That one didn't work, so you almost kind of need Aunt May. Yeah, go
Don't
ahead.
those drones like hum or make noise or like
No, they have some stealth thing. It's okay. I mean, that's a little leap of what is it called? What is the thing where you suspend your disbelief? Yeah.
Yeah, suspension of disbelief.
So did you guys catch all the Mysterio people appearances in Venice?
You know what? No, I
no.
didn't. I know they were there, but I wasn't looking for them.
I caught two. I mean, there's Jake Gyllenhaal when MJ is getting covered by the pigeons. He's behind Peter. And then there is the bus driver, who is also like the script writer. He's there when Peter's about to, when MJ's having that bow discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You see that guy. And maybe there were more, but I didn't see him. I also really like that montage. I think like that's a fun, it gives the vibe. This is the thing that the director's really good at, is like showing off the kids being kids, essentially. What do you guys think about Ned and Betty?
Oh, I thought that was
I mean,
okay.
I thought that was kind of funny. Like the jokes that were being made were like, I mean, it wasn't good enough for me to like want to see more. I was like, I'm glad it was like it's over, it's done. But it was funny. It was like it ate up
So-
time.
So this is interesting because this is the kind of groundwork that the movie is laying pretty well. The problem is, as Everett suggested last week, Harry Osborn should be a part of this. And
Yeah,
he
you
should
could
be
even
in
use
there.
the 5-year gap to put him in, like he's a student in the school now.
That's one idea. I was thinking you could even make him older. So like if he had been in Homecoming and didn't get snapped and is now 5 years ahead of Peter, he can now leave, go become like the corporate person, and then later on come back. And
Yeah, but it's too late for that.
You know what would have
Yeah,
been
I know.
interesting?
But what do
if,
you guys think of that?
I mean, it would have been a good idea.
Because it could have been like, oh hey, we knew each other and like we were friends and like you're ahead in life and all those things, and could have added some interesting dynamic to that character. But
Well, here,
Everett, what were you gonna say?
Okay, you know the guy who like was the kind of like the minor antagonist the entire movie, the dude who like took a picture of Peter and was like threatening MJ, like to show it to MJ and stuff. What if
Yeah,
you
Brad.
replaced him with Harry? Like you make Harry like a foreign exchange student or something, or not even a foreign exchange student. Like
Well, no, you're right. Like that's what Emerson said. Is you just age him up now.
yeah, you age him up, you add him onto the trip as like, hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
do like an exchange program, and then he already likes MJ like everywhere else we've ever seen him.
Why didn't they add Harry? Why do you guys think that?
Maybe they were playing it safe because I'm guessing
Do they have
knew.
the rights?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe they knew.
Well, they
that
have to. They have the
really,
rights to Spider-Man.
Right,
You telling
but,
me they
like,
have Spider-Man,
maybe-
not Harry Osborn?
Okay, but wait, hear me out. Maybe Sony wants to do its own thing with Harry as part of the deal, as they've been doing with
I feel
so
like we
many
would have
other
heard
people.
that by now.
I mean, there's still room.
Let me ask you this: have you guys seen that picture of Jacob Batalone who plays Ned? Have you guys seen him lately?
No.
He got skinnier, like significantly.
Really?
Yeah, and his last name is Leeds.
What the fuck?
You
He
looking
did
at the
get
picture?
much skinnier, dude. He lost so much weight.
So, what do you think? Do you think
Oh, wow.
he might be like the surprise Harry Osborn?
I mean, I think I mentioned that like a while ago when we first reviewed like Homecoming or Far From Home. Is Ned Leeds eventually becomes a version of Hobgoblin in the comics, so maybe they could adapt it that way.
I mean, but how the fuck he couldn't be the Harry Osborn we're used to?
Well, obviously not. I mean, the whole point of even not having him be Harry would be that he's not what we're used to.
No, I know, but but then what do you mean when you say that he becomes this version of like what would happen? He just becomes a bad guy?
Well, I mean, did he just suddenly decide? Because the Ned that we've seen, even throughout this entire movie, is like the happy fat friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
not like leading man material at all. So why, unless he just decided on his own, like I want to be skinnier now, but like his career is kind of based on being the fat kid. So like this is his biggest role, and this is like he's Ned Leeds, Peter's fat friend, his nerdy fat friend.
His comment in the post where he like revealed how much weight he lost is
What
wow.
did he say?
don't try to get at me. I'ma be vibing all day. Then a bunch of emojis. Chi, by the way, well, I appreciate the concern. People can stop telling me to lose weight now. Kobe year 24. Then some more emojis.
What if he has cancer like Bozeman?
Oh, God.
Wait,
But-
he's bald?
Yeah, I think he's normally bald. But so,
So wait, he was wearing a wig this entire movie?
I don't know about a wig, but he normally walks around bald. But so I'm thinking, why would he lose that much weight unless they were like priming him to be possibly a rival? You get what I'm saying?
How would they do that?
Yeah, because
though?
as he's fat, he's just comedic. Like he's not.
And now he's now he's not the fat friend anymore because he's also like skinny and arguably like can now stand socially next to Peter Parker. He even had a girlfriend first,
Yeah,
so
and if he starts talking like that, like he's definitely gonna be flexing on Peter Parker.
I mean, okay, if I'm trying to justify it in any way, the one thing I can see where that would benefit is if they're going for the plot of Peter Parker is alone, everyone's after him, everyone knows his secret identity, the only people he has are his closest friends that know his secret. He already has MJ, but Ned, if you take him away, that could just add to that feeling of aloneness. Does that make sense?
yeah. But the point is, where are you going to put him? You take him away, like how does him getting in shape? That seems like he's going to have. I hope they don't give him superpowers because I hate when like. You know, CW does that a lot, where like literally everyone around the hero eventually becomes some type of hero.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but would you care if he got like technological, like he had a goblin suit?
I don't know. They have to. They're not really setting it up though. They didn't lay the groundwork for him to be bad. So is he going to be? Is he going to be the next Miles? Is that what's happening? Could that
I
be
don't
it?
know.
I don't. The problem is like he hasn't been set up to be anything except the comedic relief friend.
Yeah.
So like if he's like swinging around in the next movie, like I
No,
can't
but
see.
you
it.
gotta understand also like him being fat is part of it.
I know,
Like,
I know,
when,
but
when
I'm
you
saying
see chick
yeah.
flicks, they all have the fat friend
Maybe he's gonna die.
from cancer.
No. Like in the movie, maybe he's gonna die,
Yeah.
and they're killing him off. They've already filmed it, and now he's losing weight because he wants to do something else.
Is he the new Gwen Stacy?
I mean,
I mean, basically.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. There's what would you really do with him? Like, Kia, think about it. In your perfect film where Spider-Man's on the run from all these villains, where can you really fit Ned in anyway?
I think you kill him, yeah. But I also think like I would have done Harry Osborn.
Well, maybe they didn't do Harry Osborn because they didn't really know the future of Spider-Man. Because like it's controlled by Sony, they had a certain movie deal. They didn't really want to lay the groundwork.
The future was more certain when they started Homecoming than it is now.
Yeah,
So
because they were moving towards Infinity War. Now it's like
they had a deal. They had like a 3-movie deal or 5
Maybe,
movies. Or
well,
something.
I mean, they were just coming off Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they turned Harry Osborn literally into the Goblin the first movie he was in. So maybe they were trying to stay away from that.
I get that, but then you could do Harry Osborn as his friend and you could just keep that there. You could just keep building to that. You don't ever have to actually do it, especially if they don't give you your third movie or something. But like to not have him at all and then to have Ned, I don't know.
They definitely wrote themselves into a corner, because if they're ever going to use Oscorp at all, they're going to have to somehow shoehorn it in. It's not going to make any sense.
And they stole Ned from Miles. Mm-hmm. So like Miles won't have Genki. So like I don't know. They have to do something different with Ned. All right. So we get to see Hydro Man in Venice, which he's not really Hydro Man, but people thought that he was.
Yeah.
They thought it was Molten Man, Hydro Man, and they didn't really think about the other two that much. But they're not. They're not those people.
No, they're the drones.
Because even with the figures, like when you have they had a Molten Man base, they called it Molten Man. Which means that when Hot Toys got the artwork or whatever, yeah, it was being called that, because otherwise they wouldn't call it that themselves.
Well, they probably, it makes sense. You write it in the script, that's Hydro Man, Molten Man, and then it gets revealed that they're nothing.
Yeah. All right, one thing the movie never does, which I think is kind of a plot hole, is, I don't remember how we felt about this the first time we saw it, but they never really ask Mysterio to explain himself. Like, how do his powers work at all? He says he was a soldier in an Earth just like ours. I would have a million questions.
Yeah, can you make more of these?
How do you fly?
Yeah.
Is it the suit?
I think it's meant to be the suit, because there's one line where he has this thing where he says, like, I was part of the last division to get the most advanced technology, but it was too late.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what's that technology? You're telling me Nick Fury isn't saying, like, hey, we have the minerals?
Well, Nick Fury's apparently a Skrull who's an idiot, so.
But even still, he's somewhat competent. So, like, even the Skrulls have to be like, well, we could use this tech to kill the Kree. Right? I mean, that part is like, how does no one ask?
It is definitely unexplained.
And maybe someone does, but like, I need to hear the answers. I need to hear. Of course, if you shine a light on that, the whole thing falls apart. But yeah, but you have to assume that someone would have asked, and so that would have been the end of the whole show.
Well, I mean, remember, like, they're living in the world after Endgame. Like, superheroes are really a common thing nowadays. Like, you've seen pretty much everything. Like, Doctor Strange is out there with all the stuff that he can do. Maybe a lot of questions don't need to be asked.
Well, I mean, if you look at Spider-Man Homecoming and you see how, like, one instance of alien technology appearing on our Earth transformed everything. Everybody's using Chitauri tech now. Like, Mysterio shows up, people are going to want to know. Like, people are going to, like, businessmen are going to want to be like, what's Mysterio's thing?
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, it does kind of make sense that Nick Fury, at the very least, would at least ask questions, like, in terms of the multiverse. Like, because we're all talking about how much we hate the multiverse. Despite how much we hate it, it's one of those things that's so massive that it can't go unspoken. Like, someone has to ask, hey, if you're from the multiverse and every universe exists out there that's conceivable, can you bring back Tony Stark in a world where everyone else died except for him? Yeah. How about you use it for, like, infinite resource mining or something like that? Like, something would have been asked.
Yeah. I mean, like, what does that mean? So you're on a different Earth, so are they, like, completely different people? Like, there's not a single copy? It's weird. I don't know. Maybe they were more, like, technologically advanced, like they were further in their cycle. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You see, as you watch this, how much Beck is manipulating Peter, like the way he tries to appeal to him, which I thought that was good. That's good upon rewatching. I think probably the worst scene for me in this entire movie is this drone scene where they're on the bus and he has to stop it.
Yeah. I mean, I like aspects of the scene. I like when he, like, knocks Flash out.
That's what I was thinking is probably the only redeemable part of it, because I think that's funny. And then the girl asks him, like, did you just hit Flash? But, like, the idea that none of them know what's happening.
They're just idiots, yeah.
And then
Hey, look to the right. There's goats. Oh, really? Everyone's like looks over.
But it's not even like, did you see the drone? The drone shoots the bus. Like, it actually shoots the bus. It shoots Dimitri's mirror off.
Yeah.
Like, who wouldn't notice that? And then he jumps out of the like sunroof and shoots the web. It's like, I don't know. I feel like studio interference was like, we need to add more action in this part. And
yeah, probably. Well,
You know what
the
would've
other
been
thing
funny?
is like, go ahead.
Go on. Okay. You know what would have been funny? Like if, in terms of giving that teacher more funny scenes, can you imagine, since they shot the mirror off, can you imagine a scene where they walk by and he just kind of looks at the bullet hole through it and just doesn't say anything? Just walks right on past it.
Okay.
I thought that'd be funny.
But also, like, I think they had that scene because they wanted to establish how powerful Edith was.
Yeah, well, that and also, like, I suspect, like, I didn't like the B plot of what was going on there much either.
What?
Like, the guy's trying to send the picture of Peter
What's wrong with that?
to... I don't know, I was just like, whatever. Like, it didn't interest me, you know, because it was just high school nonsense. And how are you going to end it? How are you going to resolve that scene without Edith?
So, yeah, I think it's cool that he can use Edith to get rid of the thing. It's also weird that he, like, took his sweet-ass time sending it.
He's, like, composing the message.
But I think, honestly, just the thing that, like, this is a bad scene altogether, but what really falls apart is how many times she's like, do you want me to kill Brad Davis? And he's like, what? Like,
yeah.
just say no, you fucking moron. What is this?
It turns out he actually does want it. He just doesn't want to say it.
Yeah. And then he has to, like, defeat the drone himself, which is... He, like, jumps clear out of the bus. You know that's not how it works, right? Like, you can't
Yeah,
just...
the bus would also have left.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't be able to go back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And the bus is, like, swerving. Everyone's scared. And then he's like, baby goats. And they all just turn and look.
Well, you got to go back to the suspension of disbelief, I guess.
Well, I'm saying that's a bad one. That's not one that gets away with it. So then he has this scene with Mysterio, and I saw a lot of people talk about how, like, when the movie came out, how well the scene was done because it hides the fact that, like, the real Mysterio enters the scene. Whereas, remember, he's, like, levitating?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fake. And then he sits next to Peter, and that's the real Mysterio. Except that watching the scene, I don't understand. I don't see where it could have become the real Mysterio. He can't walk up behind Peter and, like, sit into the part. Peter would absolutely notice that because there would be, like, two Mysterios.
Could have been standing on an invisible drone.
That's true. Yeah, that's something. Could have been standing on a drone. But yeah, then he sits next to him. Yeah, I don't know. That could be it. I remember people saying that at one point it switches from, like, real to fake. And I don't know. That didn't make sense. I think the night monkey thing is really funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
mean,
like that suit design.
Well,
You could
one
buy
thing
the
that I
action
find
figure.
interesting, remember where they mentioned that he can't have his suit because it would be obvious to everybody that he was
Yeah.
Spider-Man? But then he has the suit in London.
Okay, remind me, because they mentioned it a couple
Yeah.
times that his luggage got blown up. At what point did he lose it? Because he had his original homecoming suit in that his, like, little suitcase. Where did that go? Did they just leave it somewhere?
It got
I don't
blown
know.
up somewhere. I don't know.
trying to remember
I don't
where,
know
though.
that they meant literally blown up. It's just he, like,
It's gone.
Yeah, he left. Like, he left. He probably left it in that room.
So does that mean
hotel
housekeeping
room.
came in and found Spider-Man's fully functional multi-billion-dollar suit?
I mean, he might have been in the suitcase. I don't know that they, like, go through it. I'm sure people leave their suitcases all the time. I don't know. And then, so we have that scene. This is kind of an interesting scene where Mysterio tricks Peter. First of all, I think he should have had him drunk. Except I don't think that Peter could get drunk the normal way because of his, like, superhuman.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he kind of... What do you guys think? Is it too heavy-handed? The way that he kind of, like, transitions?
It
I don't
kinda
think it's too
happens
heavy-handed.
fast.
So
I think it's perfect.
the key is that he realizes that the term for the next Iron Man means that Peter should find the next Iron Man. And so that's kind of the turn of the scene. It's good enough, I suppose.
I like it. I like it fine. I think it's because it's kind of like he seizes on what Peter's worried about. He like kind of drives it in a friendly manner. He tells him to go get the girl, and then he gets the glasses.
So what do you guys think when he drops the illusion?
I love that. I love that scene where he's like, "We got it. We got it."
Oh, that wasn't.
I told you it'd be easy.
Yeah, that whole sequence just was really,
Richard,
really
do you
good.
remember when I did that to you with the whole CPK thing?
Yeah, and I was like, and you know what the worst part of that was? I was so confident, but everyone around me was like a wavering little fucking 5-year-old. Everett's like, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, and like Blake's like, she could be working at CPK. I'm like, are you guys idiots? And then what caused me to get like, what caused me to flip is you started getting offended, and I was like, all right, maybe I've like actually misjudged it. And like,
so we should explain for the listeners. For some reason, I don't remember why, but I just like was making a joke that my wife was working at CPK because we needed money, like we were short on the bills.
And by saying it once, you convinced everyone but me somehow.
I don't remember why I said it, but we said it, and then everyone else just like was like, "Wow, I can't believe that," and you right away were like, "That's bullshit." And just because of that, I like doubled down and like tripled down and quadrupled down.
It went on for like a week and a half.
And I even got
We were
Jade,
playing Ghost Recon or something while it was happening. Right?
I even got Jade to like come on and to like say that she was working at CPK. And eventually, like, you just surrendered. You're like, yeah, okay.
No, what caused the surrender was you started acting offended that I was like, it's bullshit. And I was like, okay, maybe I've misjudged it. And like, I was like, okay, all right. And then Kia's like, we got him, lights, camera, like
Drop the illusion.
No, but it was fucking horrible because I'm like, you know what the worst part of it was? You had literally said she was doing like summer camp or something. You had literally said what she was actually doing like a couple days before. And when I recalled that to everybody, nobody wanted to be like, ugh. Everybody was just like, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Like, because nobody trusted their own like memory. Everyone was just like, okay. Dude, he could like be like, all right, guys, we're Nazis now. And everyone would be like, all right.
All right, so then the movie goes to this thing where he starts thanking everybody. And they bring back that guy from Iron Man 1.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking like, oh, damn, who else did they bring back?
It was
like,
just them.
Yeah, it's just that guy. But that's okay. I mean, what are you going to do? I don't think there was anyone.
Yeah, they didn't really have many other background people.
So then he asks out MJ, which is like, he doesn't really do it, but he kind of does it. And it works. And then I was thinking like he was wearing kind of those nice opera clothes, right? Mm-hmm. And then he asks her out and he changes into like his science shirt and hoodie.
Yeah,
I
think that's supposed to be like, look how hip the kids are. Like,
you're out in Europe at night, like dress better. You had better clothes on. Why would you change into like pajama clothes? And then so they have that discussion where she says she kind of like is afraid to admit that she liked him, and that she says that she was just interested in whether or not he was Spider-Man, and they reveal the projector.
Yeah.
I have no problem with any of this, and Peter's like, he realizes right away that he's been duped, and he tells her. Do you guys care about that?
No. I think it's fine, and it also explains to the audience if need be.
I like the whole "don't tell people who you are" thing, but I also like when you don't play it off for too long with each person. So like Ned found out right away, Aunt May found out at the end of the movie. Now MJ knows, so I'm sure now the world knows by the end of this film.
Yeah, basically. Well, actually, yes.
So then he goes to Berlin, which I said there's that weird car thing, and he actually he tries to tell on Mysterio. And this is one of the best sequences of the movie, maybe the best sequence, where Mysterio just like puts on, it's like the warehouse, and he just puts on the illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
like
so
nonstop.
many different illusions. Yeah. It's so cool. And what I really like, I like that one scene where Peter tries to web the giant Mysterio, and he pulls the crane into himself.
He pulls the crane. He punches the cement pillar.
Yeah. And then and Mysterio's doing illusions within illusions because Fury shows up and kills Beck.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And he throws him
great.
back in. And then
you get Iron Man coming out of the grave.
Have you guys seen that figure? Yeah. Have I shown you that? You know Hot Toys is making that.
The zombie Iron Man figure?
Yeah, I'm definitely buying that. I think I already ordered it. And then there's the snow globe one, which is like straight out of one of the covers, I think.
Yeah.
That's also really cool. And what did I write? I wrote, zombie Iron Man. Yeah, okay. So then he gets hit by the train and he crawls onto the train, and what do you guys think about this Netherlands part?
Where he is in the little village and talking to them.
The village doesn't seem real at all. It seems like a soundstage or something. Not a soundstage, but like a set.
No, I know what you mean. I mean, but it's funny. I like the jokes they make about the Dutch. Yeah. He's like, you speak really good English, and they're like, welcome to the Netherlands.
Well, I mean, I kind of think it's not necessary to have that there, but on the other hand, what would you have replaced it with? You need a place for him to wake up and to transition into finding happy somewhere. What could have happened instead?
You could have played it a little sadder. Like he wakes up, he has to scavenge. All that time he spends in the jail, going oh, well, where am I? He could have just been limping away, asking a person where am I? Can I borrow your phone? Something like that. And then Happy has to come get him. And it's kind of sad. There was another superhero movie. Well, okay, so remember in Batman Begins when the Scarecrow sets him on fire?
Mm-hmm.
And he's barely surviving, and he has to call Alfred, and you see Alfred driving to him, and it's sad. You could have done that because that's the part of the movie where he's supposedly at his lowest. So, I also I don't really like this next scene where Happy is stitching him up, and then Peter flips out and he's like, "Don't tell me to relax! Don't tell me." It just seems like it was a little on the nose. Also, I don't know. Peter really screwed up. He essentially gave up control of the world in a manner of speaking. So it's for Happy to be don't worry,
no,
things will get better.
And Happy specifically should be terrified because he should know what it is.
Yeah,
it's Stark's thing.
But whatever, we need Happy to be a positive influence on him at this point. So then he creates the suit. At this point, given everything that they've done with him, Peter hasn't really created any suit other than the homemade suit, which is okay. Some people have they don't like how much technology has been added to Peter from Iron Man.
It's too late. In this universe, it's too late.
So it's all right, he made his own suit. So I guess he can just always make suits now. And I really like this suit. The only gripe I have with it is I don't like the white spider on his back. I think it should be red.
Yeah.
It should just be black and red. I don't know why he has white on the back. It's weird.
Red.
But it's definitely one of the best designs, I think.
I like it a lot. I'm waiting for the figure. Yeah. So, okay, there's a lot of cool swinging in this third act in London. I think so. Okay, I was reading an article, and I don't remember who the director was, but it was this kind of, he's sort of well known for some things. I don't know him that well, but and I don't think I've seen any of his movies. But he was basically saying that he was in talks to direct a Marvel film, and he wouldn't do it because they wouldn't let him direct the action sequences. Which kind of makes you think, because I felt like a lot of the swinging in this movie was pretty well done, and I don't think that was a director's choice based on what I heard. And I know that they start the CGI on the action sequences before anything.
Right, because they need to if they want to do it in time.
Right. So like when he's in Venice and he's trying to save all those buildings, he does some pretty cool swinging. And here when he's in London against the drones, he also does some really cool stuff. So I don't know, I'm excited to, and then that ending where he's swinging around New York, it's also really good.
Yeah.
It has very good rhythm to it. So I'm curious to see how this continues. But yeah, when he falls inside the illusion and all the drones are flying around, that's really cool stuff. Mm-hmm. And then just skipping ahead kind of, the Peter Tingle scene. I really like that scene. That's one of the coolest superhero moments in the MCU, I think. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where he's going down the bridge and he's fighting them with his eyes closed. Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Oh, okay, yes. For a second, I thought
the
you were referring
darkness.
to an earlier one. Yeah, no, I agree. That is a really cool
The only
scene.
nitpick you can have is that how does he not get shot? It's like
Well, how does he
impossible.
not get shot? But that I'm okay with. I love that final thing though. I love the like force in the ending there, where Peter's talking to Beck and Beck's like reaching out to give him the glasses, and he grabs the gun because Beck's to his like
Oh,
right.
that that's
I
cool.
love that scene, and there's force to it too.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking about in that sequence? So remember earlier in the movie when he actually gives the glasses to Beck and Edith says a confirmation is required for every like switch you make. So now that Beck controls the glasses, wouldn't he technically have to confirm the change? Because Peter's not in control anymore.
Does it literally say that?
Yeah. Like he has to say confirm and then he gives them to him.
Yeah, but I think that doesn't erase Peter's
Yeah.
control.
What
of the
I saw it
glasses.
as is he makes Beck an authorized user.
Yeah,
Oh.
Because why would he? Why would
Peter's
Beck,
the admin.
Here's
and,
okay.
like-
Let's say this was me like tricking Everett, right? So if I say like if I get Everett to be like Everett's like yeah you should you should be the one to have this power. I'm not gonna then be like thanks. Can
You don't always have
remove
to
yourself?
ruin my fight of the week.
Oh, I was like yeah. Can you remove yourself though? Like come on, that raises major eyebrows.
Oh, well, I was going to say, like, I guess it doesn't work anymore because that's not how it works, but I was going to say, if he needed confirmation to get the glasses back and Beck dies, he just, like, completely loses the glasses. Like, he can't use them anymore. And that's a good, convenient way to get them out of the picture, I guess.
That's not bad. Yeah. Although the problem is like I don't know how the drones work because he still has henchmen like controlling the drones. So if Beck is dead but he doesn't like lose control, I don't know.
Well, I think he did lose control. He just had the film, like they were able to edit that last thing. Because remember, Peter's able to recall all the
No,
drones.
yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so the Peter Tingle was cool, and then I didn't mind this crown jewels scene either with the friends.
I didn't either, but I really thought Happy was gonna die. Like, like on rewatch especially, like it seems like they're setting it up. Like he's being quiet, he's holding the weapon. I thought he was gonna get stabbed or something. Like
You could have had him get hurt and have Aunt May like be like worried about him, but I guess they decided to break him up at the end.
I mean, they did that in Iron Man 3. I don't think they really wanted to do a massive repeat of that.
Yeah. I like when Happy tries to throw the shield. But I think when he says, "How does Cap do that?" I think that was too much.
yeah, because like it's obvious. And
Like,
then you get
yeah.
other callbacks when Peter's using the shield and the Thor hammer thing, and like
Yeah. And I also feel like MJ didn't really make a confession. Did she?
no.
She should have said, "I'm in love with Peter Parker," which prompts Happy to say, "I'm in love with Spider-Man's aunt."
Yeah.
Because like she is at this point. But okay, so we get that scene. We didn't really talk too much about Mysterio. To me, I think he's the best villain.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
Yeah, well, because he's different. So many of the villains, first of all, the problem is so many of the villains are just hero but evil. So those ones already get taken away. Like, even though I like Obadiah Stane, like, ultimately he ends up being in an Iron Man suit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then a lot of the villains are, like, interesting in concept but end up being really stupid. Like, what was it, Ghost in
Yeah. Oh, God.
Ant-Man and the Wasp? Like
What
it
a
ends up
throwaway movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like don't think about that at all. So you get like really stupid. Then you get like the main villains, but these main villains are like too much. Like Thanos. Like Thanos can't be somebody's villain. He's a really great villain, but he's not a hero's
He's a
villain.
universal villain.
Yeah. So, but the fact that
He's
Mysterio
an
is so
existential
different. Yeah, the fact that Mysterio is so different. He's so clever, and he was a breath of fresh air. Because we've never seen a villain like this in the MCU that's like fucking with you to this extent. The closest would be like some of the stuff that happens in Doctor Strange, but even then in Doctor Strange the villain is just him, but
Yeah.
evil.
But
Yeah,
also, like I love what you said before about the illusions within illusions, where it's like he knows that he can't just like scare Peter with illusions into giving it up. He then switches to like fury, and then switches to himself again, and then it's like the train is like, and then when at that one point on the train in London or the bridge, he jumps through the glass and he catches Beck and punches him, breaks the drone helmet, and he's just like, this isn't ideal, but I have contingencies. Like the idea that he's just thought it out in every single way, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that they basically took one of Spider-Man's dopiest villains and they turned him into an actual real, like, fleshed out character.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he's in a mocap suit the whole time, I think that's so unique and awesome.
I like the mocap suit. Like I hope that I get a figure of that, because I think with him and the helmet and the mocap suit, especially that one part where he's broken Peter's mind in Berlin, and he's just like walking up to him with the controls in his hands, just like, yeah, this is the way it is. Like I like that. And
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hot Toys made a version of those drones, and I don't think they sell them standalone. I think they come with the actual.
No,
Spider-Man
yeah, I
figure.
didn't. There's two versions. There's a smaller version which comes with the black and red suit, which I will have, and then there's like a larger version which came with the homemade suit, which I canceled that. I don't want that anymore. I don't need a large. One drone is cool, but the other part I like about Mysterio is like when he's trying to kill the kids, and it doesn't work, and he's just like, I'll just kill the kids myself. Like he doesn't care at all, and also how he has some remorse about having to kill Peter Parker. And he's like, you guys screwed up. Like, now we have to kill this kid. This is your fault.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's human in that sense.
As
and
opposed
like,
to just being like, the kids must die.
yeah, he's like, fuck. Like, God, we have to do this now? Really? Like,
Yeah.
and I like how he's like planning to eliminate Fury. Also, like, if you listen to what he says, it sounds like he eventually plans to be part of the Avengers and just keep this charade going, which is like crazy if you think about it.
It also doesn't work.
Yeah, because he would get exposed in like 5 seconds.
He can't help. Yeah, he can't help with
Yeah.
anything. Or they could, I mean, I guess he could generate his own villains. Like,
I mean, the minute Thor comes down and strikes lightning and all his drones go down.
Ironically,
True.
Mysterio would actually be really effective against villains with his like illusions,
yeah,
like trapping people in them. Like
Yeah.
he could fuck with a lot of people. He could convince people to do things, get confessions,
Yeah.
like lead them places.
yeah. One last thing. Why? Okay. Why would Spider-Man need those kids to be saved by Happy?
What do you mean?
So Happy comes in, he says, I work with Spider-Man, or I'm a friend of Spider-Man, and that's how I found you. And I'm here, let's go. I'm here to rescue you.
Oh yeah, it obviously reveals Peter as like
Yeah. Like
Spider-Man.
Flash Thompson, like, sorry Flash, but why the fuck would Spider-Man save you in London?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is Spider-Man in London?
Like, you got to question that a little. So that is a big gap there. All right, so we all love the swinging set, right?
Yep.
And I like the music too. I have the track.
This is the end of the movie. He's going through New York.
Yeah, and
This is in my opinion the beginning of the best 10 minutes in the entire movie.
it is also the beginning of like Spider-Man,
Yeah.
because you could say that prior to this, like, he wasn't Spider-Man. He was like in training. But this
he was friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now he's more like grown up. He's more fleshed out. He's more mature.
But this is like a full-fledged Spider-Man now. This
Yeah.
guy is like, he knows what he's doing. He's confident. He has the resources.
And then he gets Alex Jonesed.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you one other thing before we get to that. At one point, someone asks Peter, "Are you?" Oh yeah, like in the town hall meeting at the beginning of the movie, somebody asks Peter, "Are you the leader of the Avengers?" And I know Marvel Studios has come out and said that Captain Marvel was going to be the leader,
Oh God.
but is Peter the highest ranking?
I mean,
Wouldn't Thor be? Well,
Thor-
Thor's not part
Thor's
of it.
gone. Yeah, the Guardians are gone. I mean, they're not there. They were never really Avengers anyway.
I mean, I'd take War Machine over Peter. He has more experience.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, War Machine. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, really, it should have been Black Panther, but
I mean, technically Bruce Banner, right?
I don't think it could be Black Panther because he's a king, and he's got other issues.
he was born to rule.
Yeah, Peter is actually, aside from being in school, he actually is kind of like ideal. He's New York based. He's young. He's arguably one of the most powerful ones. He's had arguably the most experience. Like Captain Marvel has been doing like her own thing, not really as Avengers, not really as, like if Shield wanted a candidate, they would want a company man, not. Well, I guess
Yeah.
Captain Marvel has a relationship with Fury.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I still think War Machine is like, he's a soldier. He's been with Iron Man. He has the suit. He's been involved in all this stuff.
What about Doctor Strange? Do you see him as?
Doctor Strange would be like the advisor you have to listen to. Not necessarily the lead. I mean, he could be. I mean, he's going to end up being the leader anyway. If he starts being the one who can fucking, like, predict the future, they're going to end up listening to him no matter what.
Yeah, but I don't think that he would want to be in charge. Because, like, now there's, like, political and legal issues with Avengers.
I mean,
And,
you
like,
have Bruce Banner. He's still out there. I wouldn't
I
mind
think
Reed
he's
Richards
retired,
if they
though.
were to introduce him. Like, he could be the leader.
He could be the leader.
But you'd have to give him. He doesn't have the foundation. If you
He doesn't.
introduced him and he's
Yeah.
already
Falcon?
the leader,
No.
no.
Well, I guess he is
wow.
Captain America now.
Maybe you never heard of affirmative action, motherfucker.
No, I'm just saying Falcon, like, especially if he's like on the run and fighting for the title of Captain America in his show, then he's not the leader.
No, that's an interesting thing because I think that would be cool to explore. Like he's the new leader of the Avengers, but then he gets undermined, and so yeah. So really, I would say they're without a leader.
Yeah.
I would even say there are no Avengers except for War Machine. Like he's the only official name on there. Scarlet Witch exists. She's out of her mind. I'm just looking through my collection. My
A
action
world
figures.
without unification.
Thor's gone.
Vision's dead for the moment.
Guardians are off world. Doctor Strange probably has better things to do.
Ant-Man's probably off somewhere else.
Ant-Man couldn't.
Captain America and Tony Stark are gone. War Machine is in. Black Panther's gone. Damn, that's a crazy blow when you think
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know.
And then, yeah, Ant-Man can't really be trusted. The Wasp, possibly. Although I don't know if she has like leadership qualities.
You know what I wouldn't mind seeing? Kia, do you know what the Illuminati is? Not the actual Illuminati, but the Marvel Illuminati.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a version of that come together and be like the leader of the superheroes on Earth.
It's not going to look like the comics. Half the characters are gone.
Yeah, but
You don't have T'Challa. You don't have Captain America. You don't have Tony Stark.
like think about it like
Reed Richards doesn't even exist in
Yeah,
this universe.
there's Reed
yet.
Richards who hasn't been born, and
but like
Doctor
somewhere down the
Strange.
line like a
Black Bolt.
like a ruling council almost. Not like a ruling council.
Yeah, but that's two people.
That's two people. Yeah.
Yep,
Namor
well,
it doesn't exist yet.
Namor, Bruce Banner, Hank Pym if he wants to come back.
He's not coming.
Professor X if he gets introduced.
Professor X. So like half of them don't even exist. More than half.
That's why I'm saying later down the line, eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I the thing with the
Eventually,
Illuminati is I think it would work better if it had like I think the reason it works in the comics, I've never read the comics, is because it's got like Iron Man and all these people who are like I don't know if you
let me
could
ask
do
you
this
this:
now.
why do you have Illuminati and the Avengers when they're basically the same?
Well, I say Illuminati because it's not only a mix of the smartest people on the planet.
Also,
So
the
that-
Avengers.
Yeah, also the Avengers, but it gives you an excuse to unify all the teams that have yet to be.
But right now there's only
revealed.
one team.
There's no teams. Yeah.
Well,
there's no
there's
Fantastic Four.
And in fact, if they introduce the Fantastic Four, they should just fold them into the Avengers. Like I don't want there to be like a million teams. Like
Well, I don't mind them working together primarily, but it's like, okay, you're not going to send all Fantastic Four to the meeting of like the minds. So Reed Richards will go.
But the point I'm trying to make here is like if you had like now it's an Illuminati movie, like why wouldn't they just bring everybody?
Well, no, I didn't say like I wanted a movie. I just said
Yeah.
it's an idea to unify them.
Right.
What I actually want to see, I want to see the like the exact opposite of that. Now that the Avengers are gone, and you're right, there's no like captain at the helm. I want to see the evolution of the MCU sort of mix with X-Men and Fantastic Four as they start to get into that world. People start popping up, like DIY heroes are everywhere. Like you can get like the new warriors and stuff like that.
No, not too many heroes.
Not too many, but enough of them
You said everywhere.
Enough of them for it to start making a difference. Does that make sense?
In what?
Like
There's already a fuck ton, to be quite honest.
Remember, like the Sokovia Accords are out there now to
It's
control
become like a career now.
vigilantism.
Like who's stopping the bank robbers?
The cops.
Yeah, the cops, I guess.
So like we already don't need. It's already like there's too many heroes and they are all like.
Yeah, and
oriented
especially
towards-
as you add more, they start being like redundant also. Because like here's another thing, right? You add a hero like let's talk about the Punisher, right? The Punisher is the guy who could stop the bank robbers. You know what he can't do? He can't fight Thanos.
Right.
Like you start Captain Marvel has already made a lot of people irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like-
so
But can you not
defenders,
see that
the
dynamic,
defenders, you have the defenders. You should put them on the street, and yeah, I don't know.
But imagine that dynamic. Like I know you guys don't like a large amount of superheroes, but think about it. Like the Avengers are gone, bit by bit. Like mutants start popping up, or like people start getting creative. Like you have a lot of heroes showing up out of nowhere, and eventually the world sets into this mindset of, hey, there's heroes everywhere now. We can actually have that real sense of security, knowing we're safe after what happened with the snap, like years later. And then eventually, once the next major threat comes in, and they're all super confident and pompous, saying like, "Oh, we can defeat it. We're all super powerful together." And then you realize that all of them are like too weak to defeat it. And one by one, you can start having casualties. They'll probably not do that, but you can have casualties.
That
You
seems
can-
too drawn out. And the other thing is like I hate the X-Men as a theory. like I'm gonna bring it up. I always bring it up whenever we talk about them. That person who gets tattoos to give them like additional. They're a
I
mutant.
forget their name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it
Ink.
magic?
I think it's ink.
But what fucking mutation is that?
Yeah,
But,
you're
like-
completely right. Like
No, what I would like
There's a
bring
lot
in
of
a
weird stuff.
bring in like specific types of mutants. Bring in specific.
bring in
heroes.
the first class like X-Men. Or sorry,
Yes.
Wolverine, Cyclops,
But-
Iceman, maybe.
I don't want there to be like heroes on everything, and like I know what Everett's trying to say is like, oh, we're secure with all the heroes, but I think having more heroes would cause the opposite effect. The more superpower people you have, the less secure you are because everyone's blowing up buildings on every avenue.
Yeah.
And every hero needs a villain.
No,
so like
we have too many heroes right now who are not like putting in their fair share of work on the street. Like they could be doing more. If everyone's just sitting around being like, "Well, I'm a higher level Avenger now."
yeah, like Captain Marvel's in space, the Guardians left, Thor left, the Hulk retired, like
Like War Machine needs to get out there. Doctor Strange needs to get out there. I don't know.
yeah, but even Doctor Strange is like I'm dealing with multiverse stuff. So it's like
and you have the Defenders and like maybe Ghost Rider, bring him back and like leave it at that.
I wanted to see a Ghost Rider movie, like a real MCU Ghost Rider movie, so badly.
You
But
might.
they're never gonna do it now
Why?
because they already wasted him on Agents of Shield.
Agents of Shield isn't canon.
Really, I thought it was. Like I thought, like they had like a whole connection to the Marvel movies.
No, they said like they're just doing their own thing now. It started out, but like they can't. You can't write a show around the Marvel. Like how could you write a show around movies? Like
I mean,
the
they
movie
managed
comes
to
out.
do it for like 4 seasons.
Yeah, yeah. It's called Agents of Shield, and then Shield like goes away in one of the movies, and like suddenly their whole premise changes. And then from there, it's like, well, we're rebuilding Shield this entire time, and then they just kind of stopped acknowledging that the movies were happening, because what are you gonna do? Like Doctor Strange, like how are you gonna tie that in? What are they supposed to do with that? And then all the other ones, like Ant-Man, they didn't do anything with that. And I mean, you could go down the list. They didn't acknowledge anybody for any of these things. So I believe at one point they said that they just kind of went their own way with it. And by the way, no one cares because people stopped watching it pretty far.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
It wasn't a terrible show, but it wasn't great either.
terrible, but after they started getting into the whole Inhumans plot, I kind of lost track.
I watched up until I don't remember. There was one arc where one of the women, she like ended up on Mars or something.
Yeah, it was that. It was Simmons. She ended up on another planet.
Yeah, and I liked that arc, and so I finished that season, and I don't think I saw anything else. All right, so we go into the next credit sequence, and Peter he sees the news report.
Yep.
Yep.
J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons. I remember in the theater, I was like super excited when that happened. I think you were too, Everett.
Yeah, you and I like looked at each other like in disbelief. I had the same reaction watching it now as I did then. Like my mouth was open, I was smiling, I was happy.
You were just as shocked 2 years
I
later.
was enjoying myself on the same level. That is a great scene.
Okay.
Why are you laughing? That's not weird at all.
No, it's just Everett. You have this way with words.
Yeah, it's like the way that you said it is it's funny. You made it sound like you had forgotten that it happened and that you were like, ah.
I didn't forget that it happened. I just enjoyed myself equally.
Yeah, you said you had the exact same reaction. That's what that means.
If your like mouth was open. Everett, you're the center point of the show. I want
Everett
you
hates
to know.
us. And then he gets his identity revealed, which we've discussed, like the implications of that. I mean, that
Yeah,
was
but
the most
everything that
shocking
comes
thing.
out about the next movie seems like it might
Just
kind of be swept aside.
undermine that in every single
Yeah.
way. Yeah. That was the craziest part. Like, so the question I have is this the best MCU movie?
Have we ever done a ranking of all the MCU movies?
Yeah, we've done like 30
all
of
the
them.
time. It's hard for me because I judge movies off different merits
But
based on what they're doing.
I will say I don't think that we ever did it. We never. I have the ranking saved here. We never ranked this movie.
Because it came out last.
Yeah.
What
I
did we
don't
rank
know
as
because
first? Like,
Civil
what was
War.
unanimous?
see that's the thing. Like I think this is really good, but Civil War is a different type of movie to this. There's things I like in Civil War that are different. There's like scenes, there's action, there's different things. Same reason I like Infinity War Endgame. Different things.
I don't rank I rank most of my movies based on writing. And Civil War has really good writing. Civil War doesn't have a scene that I loathe as much as this drone bus scene. I also don't give it a lot of credit for having all those extra heroes because I'm like, that's a much harder job. You better write those people properly. And they did. And also Far From Home, for what it does, is also written very properly. Like, it's done really well. I just feel like the pacing and the action of Civil War is way more fun. Not that this one isn't fun, but I think that one's just better. Like, I could watch that at any time.
Yep.
And as much as I love Mysterio, and I like the third act, and I like the second act, and I like the first act here, I just think that I think Civil War hits like another level just barely with the music. Like, you know, when Tony tells him to drop the shield, like there's nothing like that in this movie. Nothing is deep, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, Civil War is still number one, but this might be number two. Our number two was Infinity War. And then Black Panther. Wait, is Endgame even on this list?
I don't think we ranked it that high.
Endgame.
I don't think it's on the list.
It's not on the list.
Oh, it isn't? I'd put this movie top 5, absolutely. But I'd have to decide whether or not I...
Well, do you rank it above Infinity War?
I'd rank it above Infinity War, but probably not.
I don't know if I would. And I think this movie, as like a standalone movie, I would rank it above a ton.
Yeah.
But Infinity War, like, doing all that, bringing all the heroes together, having Thanos, like...
Yeah, but, I mean...
It's a different type of movie for me.
My biggest problem... There are two scenes in Infinity War that I can't stand. Number one is when Gamora doesn't realize that he's going to kill her, and she starts mocking him. And I'm like, come on, just figure it out already. I can't... Like, this scene's going on too long. And then the second one is when he's going for Vision. And, oh, God... Like, you guys know my ideas for that scene, right? With the whole, like, he should reverse all of time. So he should kill the Avengers on the way in and then reverse time to get Vision back, but reverse it for everyone so that they're alive again. Instead, he just, like, does the dumbest things to them. And it just, like, I don't know. I'm not saying I hate the movie. I like the movie. But I can't in good conscience put that above this movie or Civil War.
We'll see, but the thing for me is I look at like it's hard for me to put this above Infinity War because Infinity War is like fundamentally a different type of movie.
Yeah, still. I mean, every movie's the same if you compare it on a writing level.
That's true, but I mean, I don't know as much about the writing experience, and I don't look as closely at the writing all the time as you do. So, like, yeah.
Like, I know that the beginning of Infinity War all the way up to when they get on the ship, Ebony Maw's ship, like, that's really good. And then from there it stays good, but it has, like, some weird moments, but that are okay, but whatever. They're, like, awkward, like when Natasha and Bruce see each other and just, like, that sort of stuff, like, all that, like, crunching together of the people. And then they go to Wakanda, and, like, that's okay, but, like, Wakanda's strategy to defend it is, like, they don't even use the ships, or like, I don't know. All right, wait. Black Panther came out before Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
So Endgame was the last time we see Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. So there are some deleted scenes here that I don't know that you guys watched, because I watched it on the disc.
I didn't see any deleted scenes.
He goes
Not
to
that
the
bad.
deli with Mr. Delmar, and he tries to use his Italian to buy a double adapter, and he doesn't really say it right, but whatever. And then, like, that's part of the scene. That's not my opinion. The scene is like him not saying it right. And then he goes to the post office to get his passport stamped, and he sends his drone. There's a long line, so he sends his drone, his spider drone, to crawl under the post office cashier radar and to switch the closed sign for the teller to open, even though she's on her lunch break, like she's eating food. So then he just, like, kind of cuts the line and goes straight to her, which is weird. I'm not surprised that got cut. He goes to the pawn shop and he, like, sells a bunch of his, like, rare action figures to get the money to buy MJ the necklace. And then there's the last scene, which is like he takes down the mafia. This whole sequence is like his checklist to get ready for the trip.
Oh, that Iron Spider
The one
scene
that
from the
was
trailer.
in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, so the fourth thing on his checklist is to take down the mafia before he goes. Which this scene's actually not bad, because you get to see the Iron Spider just destroying like regular people. Like he's basically just standing there as the arms do the work for him, and he jumps around a little bit. And then at the end, the cops come and they're all like his friend. They're like, "Hey, can we get a selfie or whatever?" And Peter's like telling him, like, "That's the number one guy. That's the advisor." And then he accidentally points out the snitch, and he's like, "No, never mind. That's not the." The guy looks at him like, "No, don't say." So that scene was actually not bad. It probably just didn't really add to the film. So yeah, that's it. Unless you guys have something else, we could go to the fight of the week.
I mean, that's... Oh, wait. The fucking horrible second post-credit scene.
Oh yeah, that I didn't even watch it.
I hated it. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
It's
it
revealed
sucks.
like, oh, they're the Skrull. Like, it's just annoying. Fury's just a jokey guy. Like, it's really... It
You know what
ruined
really
Fury's
sucks?
character.
I hate how
Continued the ruining of Fury's character.
I hate how people try to justify that scene, like, oh, Fury was really a Skrull the whole time. You could totally see it on rewatches. Like, no, like,
No, you
it's just
couldn't.
a bad scene.
Yeah. I forgot one thing. So I rewatched Infinity War and Endgame recently, and I gotta say, I still hold to this. I said it once before. I think Captain Marvel is better if you don't watch that movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
I
because
think
it's
she's
like...
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what happens is she gets called up at the end of Infinity War. So everyone's like, "Who is she?" She's already there in Endgame.
Yep.
And she saves Tony Stark, and she's clearly like on the outside, and they have a lot of respect for her, and they also are like tiptoeing around her, so you don't really like understand her. Thor kind of welcomes her in, and then she, like, you cut to 5 years later, she's doing some new stuff, she's got a brand new look, you're still kind of like, who is she? And then she shows up in the last part and just like kicks ass. And
Yeah,
like,
and she has like badass scenes, like when
holds her
Thanos
own,
like
yeah.
headbutts her and stuff. Like,
and then you just, if you add the Solo movie, I think it just weakens all of that.
yeah, well, because it's like, this is stupid.
Yeah. So, all right, fight of the week.
Okay, so my original fight of the week was that you had to convince Everett to give you the glasses, but you already kind of went over that. So it's up to you if you want to do that, but I did prepare a backup one as well.
Well, okay, so if I was going to convince Everett, the first thing I'd have to do is wait for him to mess up. Because you got to have something like tangible to make him, to guilt trip him over. You can't just be like, hey, give it to me, right? So I'd have to be like, Everett, I'll help you out no matter what you need. He's like, sure. And then, you know, he mismanages it somehow. I have to wait until that happens. He mismanages it, and then I just lay on the guilt. I was like, Everett, do you know how many people could have died because of what you did? And he's like, I know, I got to be better. I was like, Everett, this is serious. Like, can you do this? Can you actually do this? And he's like, I don't know. Like, you know, you're gonna put the idea, and I'll be like, I'll do the thing. I'll put him on the spot, which happens on the podcast so often, where I'll be like, Everett, tell me 3 reasons why you should have it, and you know he's not gonna say anything, right, Everett?
Yeah, you're right, probably. I know myself, and you're definitely right.
He's gonna be like, oh, I don't know. He's gonna want me to say something. I'm just like, Everett, like, here's how I see this. Like, you really got to think of it like this, and think of it this way, and you got to remember all these things, and like, you have to be really responsible. Like, have you thought about like maybe not doing it? Like, maybe not being the person?
God, you're fucking like planting like a fucking breadcrumb road.
And you know, like, I'm not saying it would happen in one conversation, but you like, if he messes up again, you can pretty much assume that he's gonna like hang it up.
Okay, so here's the second. How would you get me to give them to you?
You I would kill. Because
Wow, God. Yeah, see, Everett comes out on top on this one because he's alive.
yeah, but you're an egomaniac. There was no way you would give up that much power.
That's
and
true.
if you were mismanaging it, you'd have to be killed. And I would be the one to do it because I could get close. That would be for the greater good, not for my own selfish reasons. I'd be
But
like,
this isn't mismanaging. This is you want it.
I'm just saying, the only reason I would want it from you is because you're like rebuilding concentration camps or something. Like, you were gonna do some crazy shit with that. You should not have it. You'd be bombing countries at like the smallest like infraction.
You think so? I think I'd be just.
I don't think you'd be just. I think you'd be threatening it at you'd be like Trump in there, like, we have bombs. Like, you'd just be saying it all the time.
No, I think I'd be just. So you'd kill me?
The way that people around Trump are like tiptoeing and like not saying like, hey, this guy's out of control. We need to like talk him off the ledge. He's gonna like destroy Iran and throw us in the war. Like I would be that guy where I would just like find the opportunity in front of everyone. I would just like jam something in the back of your head, and no one would say a word. No one would protest. I'd just be like, it had to be done. And then I'd take the glasses and I would just walk out of the room. I'd probably break the glasses. If that actually happened, I would just break the glass. I'd be like, fuck this. Let's go back to before. We'll just fight it with men. We'll fight the wars with men.
Fair enough.
All right, Roundup. Oh, yeah, Mandalorian. Ahsoka Tano. So how crazy was that? How crazy was that she was not in the episode?
Yeah, okay, let me start by saying I think it's rather fitting that the best episode of this season is directly followed by the absolute worst episode of this season. This was probably, out of all the Mandalorian episodes ever made, the worst episode ever. It's
Are
awful.
there only 8 episodes?
I don't know.
Because I'm seriously considering not watching anymore. Like, are you going to keep watching it, Everett?
Probably, but
See, the thing is, I want to watch it so that I can rip it with evidence. But when I don't watch it, I can't just be like, it sucks, and then like, I don't know why it sucks anymore because I haven't seen the last 5 episodes or something. So I don't even know where to begin. But okay, let's shift gears for a second. Here's something else I watched. So I went to bed at like somewhat early one of the nights, and I woke up early. So I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I was like, I'll watch. I was thinking I was going to go back to sleep, but I was thinking about watching this movie on Netflix called The Trial of the Chicago 7.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna start it, and if it sounds good, I'll go back to bed and I'll watch it later because I know it's like worth watching.
yeah, there's only 8 episodes.
So I start watching it. I'm like, this thing's fucking good. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, I think I'm like should maybe go back to sleep, but I can't stop watching this movie. This movie's so good. It has Sacha Baron Cohen, Eddie Redmayne, Mark Rylance, he won the Oscar for Bridge of Spies, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I forget the guy who plays the judge. He's like an older guy. There's one guest appearance that like I won't spoil, but I was like, that was great, amazing. And then just like other people that you know their faces, but you don't really know the person. I thought that movie was so good. It was really, really interesting and fun.
Okay.
You didn't like it?
I'll check it out. No. I said I've seen it on Netflix. Like, I've seen it.
Oh,
I haven't watched
win.
it.
Hard win. And I told Claudia to watch. She watched it yesterday, and she was like, "Wow, that was fucking amazing." It was really good. You gotta watch it. I would watch it again, honestly.
Maybe we should review it.
So, I mean, we could. I watched it, but I mean, it's not really worth reviewing other than to say that you're just gonna say like I liked the performances. Basically, it's not that kind of movie that like you can really dig into.
Yeah.
It's just really good. So basically, my point is, when something's good, being tired or like being distracted, these things don't really matter because it's good. It captivates you. After I watched that, I was kind of like, I was kind of like jumpy, like from the movie. Like I was excited. I was, when I see a good movie, I'm usually inspired. And so I was like, well, I have some time. It's only like 7 a.m. or something. I'll watch Mandalorian because I haven't watched that yet. I mean, the amount of times I clicked on the screen just to see how much time was left. I mean, honestly, like that's a real measure of, because I was watching it on my phone. That's a real measure of how good it is, how much filler there is. Because I never clicked once on the movie to see how much it ended because I was like so into what was happening. And this show, I mean, I could rip it apart. You guys want me to rip it apart?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll rip it apart with you.
Okay, so like I'm gonna rip it apart from the writing aspect. Here's how dumb the show is. Here's how absolutely fucking stupid it is. So that guy from the first episode of the first season, the blue guy that he puts in carbonite.
Yeah, the fish guy.
So that guy's back, and he's living out a 250-year sentence or debt to. Is that Carl Weathers? Is that who that is? The black guy that.
Yeah,
like,
I know
helps
who he
him?
is. I just don't want to be racist. Hold on.
Is it Carl Weathers?
Let's find out.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember the guy's name. So he's like in debt to Carl Weathers. Now they're gonna go along on. I don't even know what they were doing.
It was Okay.
Why did they go to the base?
The Mandalorian, for some reason, I don't know why he landed there. They went to the base to destroy the base because they wanted to free the planet of Navarro. That was the last Imperial stronghold left on the planet.
But what happened to the Ahsoka Tano thing? Was his ship just damaged and he just stopped?
Yeah, I think he stopped to get repairs. And I honestly don't remember. It was so forgettable. He went there for some reason, but he needed their help. And for some reason, like they brought him back. They brought Cara Dune back.
When you play video games that are RPGs and like you end up doing these bitch quests as side missions, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be like stopping the end of the world, and you have me looking for your cat or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it. It's interactive. So it's like it's a mission. They throw some enemies at you, you kill some people, you save the thing, you complete the quest, whatever. But when your show is based on that and it's not interactive, and I'm like, you just told me there was going to be a Ahsoka Tano, which I don't even care about, by the way, but I know people do. And instead, it's like he's doing something else. Like he's just doing something else completely. And so that's bad. So then they take the blue guy. The blue guy is driving the car to the base. They drive right up to the base. Like they park outside. And I'm just going to highlight, like, this is how dumb the writing is, okay? Remember, none of this is going to add anything to the overall plot. So the three of them, it's Cara Dune, Gina Carano. It's Cara Dune, the Mandalorian, and Carl Weathers. And they go up to the door, and it's, like, locked. So the blue guy is like, well, I dropped you guys off. I'll be leaving now. And Carl Weathers like, stay in that fucking car, or I'll take it. How about I take 25 years off your sentence or something? Like the whole time he's just taking off years off his sentence for like doing basic things. And he's like, okay, so we've established that he wants to leave, right? He wants to leave with the car. You would also assume that means that they need the car there, right? So so then the next thing is like the door's locked. So then he tells the blue guy to get out of the car and come get he has like a tool to come like destroy the door somehow. And now the guy doesn't want to get out of the car. He's like bitching and moaning the whole time. So then he's like, how about another 25 years off your, like, he says it like a threat, but he's actually just like enabling this bad behavior. So
he's like bribing him the whole time.
So he comes up and he's doing that thing and he's complaining. And then he opens the door and they go in and he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to stay out here. It's like, okay, so now you want to stay with the car. And then Cara Dune goes, well, I'm sure you'll enjoy being out here when the lava comes and washes you away. And he's like, oh, geez, now I'll go inside. It's like, okay, number one, what does this have to do with anything? Like, why are we even hearing this?
I've become bored just listening to you describe it.
And two, if lava was going to come, you were just going to leave him there in the car? And also, now that you're saying that he should come with you so he doesn't die, what about the car? Why did you care about the car before? It just doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And I know most people, like, it's so mind-numbing that I think a lot of people, because I think about it in terms of writing, I'm like, you got 30 minutes. How are you going to make this 30 minutes work, you know? Like, it needs to have a good pace. What are they doing? What's the setup? I want to know how you did this. This is a huge project with a lot of money behind it. Star Wars, like, I want to know. But I think most people will, like, that whole sequence, they won't even remember that happened. They'll just be like, like mild banter, and then they go into the base, like as if there was like some type of conflict that they had to, like this bullshit conflict. I'm gonna say bullshit conflict because we're gonna have another one coming up, where it's like, oh, they couldn't get into the base right away. Oh, but they got in. It's like, what they could have gone in the whole time. Like, you didn't have to write this stupid ass scene. Don't you have better things to do with the 30 minutes? Nope. So then they go in, and so they have to go where, like, they're at, like, this opening that overlooks the lava. And they have to hit the console to make the base self-destruct. So, again, here's more bullshit conflict in the story. They need to get to the console, but the console is hard to reach. Okay? So they walk out onto this platform. The pillar's like right to their right, but on the far side of the pillar, like in other words, hanging over the lava, is the console. Instead of like on the side of the platform where, can you imagine if someone needed to use that? Why wouldn't you put it where you can easily access it? Why would you put it on the far side over lava? Right. And then, this is the dumbest part of it all. The railing, the floor that you need to cross to get to the other side, to get to the console, you have to like shimmy across it. It's so thin. So every single time someone wants to use that console, they have to like almost die trying to cross over that lava just so they can get to the console, just so the story can be like, hey, you blue guy, you're the one that has to go. So he starts shimmying across, and I'm like, why would they build it like that? Then he gets to the console and he hits the self-destruct thing, and he has to shimmy back, and now they're all running, and guess what? The base is alerted. Cue generic like shooting scenes. They have Gina Carano trying to do like MMA stuff, which is like, I don't hate it, but it's I don't understand if they're trying to pander, like they're like telling her to do the MMA stuff, because clearly no one else does anything like that. So either she's like choreographing her own stunts, or they're like trying to do the whole MMA thing to like be like, she knows how to fight or something. She's putting them in rear naked chokes where it's like, you could have just shot him in the back of the head. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. And then later the stormtroopers go to like defuse the self-destruct sequence, and they also have to shimmy now. They're shimmying across. I'm like, I can't believe this. Who would build it like that? And then from what I remember of the rest of the episode, they just like get into like a flying vehicle. They left the car there. I assume the car got destroyed. So they just like flew away. And then there was some TIE fighters. And the TIE
They
fighters...
get into like that armored vehicle that they like had teased earlier. They're like, oh, we can get a lot of money for this on the black market. And they're like, just leave it behind, let it blow up with the rest of the base. And then they take it and they start running away from the stormtroopers.
Yeah, so they're fighting the TIE fighters, and like the way Mandalorian beats the TIE fighters, just like when he beats Moff Gideon. Oh, by the way, there was the big reveal that Moff Gideon is still alive.
Which we already
whatever.
knew anyway.
Yeah, which we already... The whole episode is just for Mandalorian to find out that Moff Gideon might still be alive.
And they revealed why they were messing around with the child, and it's probably the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
What was it? I don't even remember.
It was that they are attempting, I think at least what they were trying to convey was they're attempting to create force sensitives by giving blood transfusions to subjects by extracting the metachlorians from other people, which is why they needed the child, because they were taking his metachlorians out and giving blood transfusions. But after they took him, they didn't have enough samples left, so they need him back to do that.
Wait, they took him, but they didn't take enough samples?
So he's like so remember that scientist that like the Mandalorian like not saved but spared?
I mean, Werner
Like
Herzog?
in that holo recording, he was explaining like they didn't refer to it as metachlorians. They called them like M cells, but it's obviously metachlorians. They're like, we needed a sample. I managed to take enough from the child without killing him, but now that he's gone, I don't have enough. We need to get him back. It's basically what he was saying.
Whatever.
And then they revealed those dumbass troopers at the end.
Yeah, so anyway, the Mandalorian's fighting the TIE fighters. The way he fights them is that they're like flying right at each other, but Mandalorian is spiraling, and then he just shoots the TIE fighter.
Wow, that seems...
And then he leaves.
But think about it, it actually doesn't make any sense because the TIE fighter... Oh, there was one sequence, I forgot. They're like running in the canyon in the vehicle, and Carl Weathers is shooting the machine gun, and he's like... So the TIE fighters are chasing them in a straight line, basically, in a canyon. And Carl Weathers like can only shoot to the left and right. Like he's a fucking moron. So anyway, same thing applies here. The TIE fighter apparently just can't shoot straight. And Mandalorian, they're flying right at each other full speed. And Mandalorian shoots straight and kills him. But he does it at the last second, and if he hadn't done that, they would have definitely just smashed right into each other. I'm like, whoa. Like, am I supposed to be so stupid that I don't question, like, the logic of what the fuck he was doing? Why don't you actually choreograph some, like, aerial fighting? Like, what is this? Anyway. So, yes, then is it the Death Troopers? Were those
No, they're called Dark Troopers. And when I was telling Emerson...
my God.
When I was telling Emerson
ends.
this the other day, it's not what you think. Emerson, I made a mistake. I told you that Dark Troopers are Force-sensitive stormtroopers, essentially, and that's not right. Those are Shadow Troopers. Dark Troopers are... I know, there's like no difference.
Oh, God.
Dark Troopers aren't actually troopers at all. They're fucking droids. They're just like heavily armored droids from a video game, and literally that's it.
Do they make cute noises?
They're like I literally described them as
when they
video
die,
game
are they going to be like,
villains.
Do they weep for their friends?
It's going to be the same thing that happened with the Death Troopers. Everyone hypes up the Death Troopers as like these badass Imperial military. They're like the special forces, the best of the best. They got killed instantly against the Mandalorian. So they're hyping these things up as like the super awesome battle droids that are going to die immediately too.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
All right, I finished The Crown season 4.
Okay, that was fast.
I mean, yeah, I watched like an episode or two a day. It's still a fantastic series. I think the main problem for me is the first 2 seasons I loved the Queen, and now I don't hate her, but I dislike her. And while many other things of the show are still the same in terms of production value and acting quality and music and blah blah blah, all that's still the same. But it was Claire Foy who like really brought me into the show, and it's not like, I don't know if it's her, but the way that the Queen is written, like, I'll just give you an example. At one point, Diana is so like overwhelmed that she actually hugs the Queen like for comfort, and the Queen doesn't hug her back.
What the fuck?
And it's just like, okay, I get what you're saying, Although that doesn't really seem like Claire Foy to me. Like I don't
Yeah.
think she would have done that. And then also, like, I don't like her. And so now the only person I like is Diana, which you only introduced like this season. And
And you know what's gonna happen to her, so
yeah, but it's just like, and I don't know that I don't think she's gonna die next season. It's because it ends in 1990, this season. So yeah, I mean, another 7 years you could do that in a season 5. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't really remember, like, as a kid, I don't remember a lot of things in the UK. I remember Tony Blair.
well, there's Gulf War in 1991.
Right, but that wasn't really their thing. That they were just a part of it.
Yeah, but like they were pretty heavily involved.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to translate to the Queen the way that...
Well, yeah, the farther you get away, too, the less the royal family matters.
Right. So, it's still a great show. I still prefer... It's weird because you can
Well, this is the danger when you start changing actors. Like, it's ballsy of them to do that and, like, to go through someone's
Yeah.
life. But that's why I haven't started season 3 yet, because I'm waiting a bit, because I feel like it'll be so jarring jumping from all these characters I like to...
Yeah, it's different. It's different. I really like Charles, but they make him to be like kind of a dick this season. You know, there's some really great episodes. Like I would say episodes 4 and 5 are like the peak of the show. Thatcher does some cool stuff. Like she's interesting. Gillian Anderson is interesting. Yeah. What can you say? Like I highly recommend it, but you should watch the first season. It's not like don't jump in at season 4. You got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everett, you
course.
watch some Disney movies?
Yeah, I've been doing a Disney rewatch on Disney Plus, and I started with Wall-E and Wreck-It Ralph, which I think Wall-E's my all-time favorite Pixar movie.
I've never seen it.
I love that movie. It's if you haven't seen it, it's a phenomenal movie.
Do you
It's
think
got a
it's
great
something we should
soundtrack.
review at some point?
Absolutely, it's a great movie.
Wait, which movie
great
was this?
soundtrack.
Wall-E?
Wall-E.
You want to... You've
Yeah.
never seen it, Kia?
I've never seen it. No, I wasn't a child when it came out.
I think
guess
I think it's a great movie.
we could review it.
If we ever
No,
do
I
a
don't.
Disney
I
rewatch,
think it's a
recommend
fun
it.
movie. I think it's a good, fun movie. I just don't know if... I don't know.
All right. And
Putting a lot
then-
on the line.
Is that it, Everett?
Yeah, and I watched Wreck-It Ralph, which is a kids movie but fun. Second one sucks, so I'm not gonna watch that.
Didn't we review the second one?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I saw it. I don't know. I must have reported it in the roundup at least. For gaming, I don't have anything other than like I'm still playing Miles Morales. Anything you guys got?
There's the GTA thing.
Oh yeah, the GTA
Oh, yeah.
Island.
Yeah,
So when is that coming
Oh,
out?
God.
I don't know when it's coming out, but all I've been doing is seeing the teases that they've been posting everywhere. They've
Okay.
been doing a lot of in-game stuff for it. Like there's Easter eggs scattered around the map.
All right. Yeah, Miles Morales. I'm enjoying it. I still really like the game. I'm taking it slow, but I gotta say there's something about it that I don't enjoy as much, and I think it might be that I don't have all of Peter's web gadgets.
Oh, wait, you don't get all the same gadgets from the first game?
No, because
Are
Miles
they
is a bit
all new
different.
gadgets?
Are they all new gadgets? No.
Like the gadgets? So, well, that's...
Well, kind of. They have like their own wrinkle to them, and it seems like there's not as many, and so I see the lock slots, and I don't think that I'm going to be unlocking like I don't know. I can't get the hang. Like there's a web bomb which I like, but I couldn't figure out how to use it so far. And then there used to be the impact web which I really liked, and that's not there as far as I can tell. And so I kind of struggle with some of the combat. The enemies are a little harder, and I always play the game on hard, which is fine. Like I don't mind the challenge, but it has been like slower going for me. All right, trailers. Did you guys see Chaos Walking?
No.
I did, actually. I've heard this thing has been in development hell forever. And, like...
Well, so here's what I gathered from the trailer. It's Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley. She crashes in a spaceship on a planet where there are no women, and only women can hear the men's thoughts. So it seems like they might have killed the women. And it seems at some points, if am interpreting this correctly, at some point Tom Holland can start hearing the men's things too. He gains like the woman ability, and I don't know. Mads Mikkelsen is in it. One of the Jonas Brothers is in it.
One of the things I've heard about this movie is apparently it's had like multiple writers. They had to do a bunch of reshoots. Like, apparently it's like it looks like the type of movie that would just fall apart.
So we'll see. Everett's Game of Smartass.
Okie dokie. Oh wait, you didn't talk about the Big Mouth trailer?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, they released a trailer for season 4.
Okay.
It's basically they go to summer camp.
Didn't we not like season 3?
Yeah, season 3 was pretty.
I didn't
awful.
even watch season 3.
Yeah, I remember it not being so great, and I'm not super excited. But all right.
Yeah, I'm not excited for this one.
Everett's Game of Smartass.
Alrighty, Kia, it is your turn to choose this week first.
Person,
place, or thing. Person. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. I am the protagonist of my world. I am featured in several films. In my youth, I often didn't take my responsibilities very seriously and could even be considered arrogant. At least one character in my films is played by James Earl Jones. My father died to save my life. I come from an upper-class family. In more recent films, I am voiced by Donald Glover.
Simba.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, I was like, is it Luke Skywalker? Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't remember like what the hell his gimmick was.
Yeah, it's funny how similar those two are. Anyway, what's next? Emerson, you choose.
Place.
All right, here we go. I can range from 10 yards to several hundred yards. I am heavily defended. My name was first used in the correct context by historian Ernest Swinton in his short story The Point of View. I am riddled with barbed wire and booby traps. My name can also
No Man's Land?
Yeah, nice.
Oh.
All right, so we got thing then. Last one. Here we go. I am very large. I have only appeared in a single title from an existing series. I am designed solely for combat. I patrol specifically designated areas. I am armed with a variety of weapons, such as a Gatling gun and a SAM launcher. I use durable treads to move accurately around.
The Behemoth?
Yeah, nice.
The Behemoth from what?
Ghost Recon
From Ghost
Breakpoint.
Recon.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck?
All right, well, Kia,
It's a
Since
Ghost
you
Recon
got-
question. You have to take it.
do you want the
Yeah,
extra question?
go ahead.
All right, your extra question is, how many weak spots does the Behemoth drone have?
Oh my
What?
god.
Jesus. I think I know it.
Is it 1?
Nope.
Uh,
It's
How
4,
many is
one
it?
on each side.
What?
I don't know. I think I've only
That
killed
just
like
shows
one
how
or
good
two.
we are at fighting.
Okay, so you each got 1 point this week then. So our current scoring is Emerson 33, Kia 35.
All right. All right,
That's
moving
all she
on
wrote.
to news. Some random stuff, some of it interesting. Moon Knight. We've got some character descriptions and costume details. I'm more interested in the costume.
Yeah.
One character description is a female lead in her 30s, described as Egyptian and strong. And the other is for a British male lead in his 50s, early 60s, in a strong supporting role, potentially open to Europeans. It speculates that this might be Marlene Alron and Jean-Paul Frenchy Duchamp. The former is one of Mark Spector's love interests and the daughter of a noted archaeologist, while Frenchy is an ally to the hero who serves as his pilot and mechanic. So, the leak also says Moon Knight will don a silver cloak in the series, a slight change from his typically all-white suit in the comic books. And sometimes it is gray in the comics, just like because of colors. So
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I like the look of his outfit in some of the comics.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you guys hear that Galactus is going to invade Fortnite next month?
Yeah, it's in 10 days.
No.
Here's another one. This is like a rumor. The headline is Marvel Studios is reportedly prioritizing its Disney Plus TV shows, but that's not bad news for the movies. Let's see. The Disney Plus series are under heavy scrutiny from Kevin Feige and his executives. The series are the priority. Ramping them up takes a lot of focus. The movie's machinery is well established. So I guess that's what they mean. They're basically just trying to make the shows. We'll see. I hope the shows are better than Mandalorian. I really do.
Here's hoping.
Black Panther 2, Narcos actor Tenoch Huerta is in talks to play the villain. I don't know how you say that name. Tenoch. So let's see who they think the villain might be. Oh, no details as to that. Yeah. Let's see. Lupita Nyong'o is going to be in it. Winston Duke and Angela Bassett are going to be in. It should be Nakia, I think.
Okay.
Not Shuri. I don't know about
Why?
Shuri, because Shuri is already well established as her role in Wakanda.
Right. Also, she has to have the throne, too.
You don't have to be king, I don't think. You just have to win the challenge or something. I don't know.
She's a good quartermaster, though.
Shuri can't win the fight.
No, I don't mean the fight for Black Panther. I mean, but, like, isn't she going to inherit the throne?
I mean, yeah,
She
she's
has to fight
of the
for it,
royal
I'm pretty
family,
sure.
I thought, oh, well.
You can't just be, like, remember when his dad died, T'Challa had to challenge?
but yeah. It's all the royal clans come together and have to.
And
fight
Nakia
for it.
was one of the champions, and they didn't challenge, remember?
Oh, yeah, yep.
It should be Nakia. I'm gonna be so. They're gonna do Shuri, and it's not gonna make sense. Or what if it's like Shuri versus Nakia, and like Nakia? I mean, you really see what's his name? Who's the gorilla guy?
M'Baku?
M'Baku. You think
M'Baku.
he is just gonna sit it out? Shuri can't beat him. Anyway, so Deadpool 3 moving forward with Marvel Studios. They found the writers. These are the people that worked on Bob's Burgers, which I think is like a decently funny show. It's not my favorite, but I think that's the right match in terms of tone for Deadpool. Because it's not like just because they did a cartoon for TV, they can't do an R-rated movie. Remember Marvel has said that, or Disney has said that they intend Deadpool to be rated R, but they haven't actually like confirmed that. But they're saying that the expectation is that it'll have an R rating. Personally, I don't think I care. Do you guys care?
I'm kind of burnt out
Not
on
really.
Deadpool still.
I don't. As I said, like, what are you going to do? Like,
I think
it's just, like,
maybe
more of
he
the
could
same.
do something where he like helps bring in the new characters somehow.
I don't know, but his shtick is getting old.
It's
Like-
already old, yeah. I agree. Batman and Robin star George Clooney elaborates on his feelings towards the DC film. He says, "The only way you can honestly talk about things is to include yourself and your shortcomings in those things. Like when I say Batman and Robin's a terrible film, I always go, I was terrible in it. But also because then it allows you the ability to say, having said I sucked in it, I can also say that none of these other elements worked either, you know? Lines like freeze, freeze." Yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
I'm surprised he's not in the MCU in some way. Could he be Uncle Ben? He's too famous. All right, Wonder Girl. Yeah, Wonder Girl is getting her own TV series on the CW. Like,
Great.
yeah. How about Wonder Boy? So, Yara Flor, a Latina dreamer who was born of an Amazonian warrior and a Brazilian river god, learns that she is Wonder Girl, and with her newfound power must fight the evil forces that would seek to destroy the world. Why would you Why would you learn that you are Wonder Girl? How could you?
It's one day it clicks.
knows?
Hey, I got superpowers.
Also, how many villains could there be? Like, Wonder Woman doesn't have the deepest lineup. Is she gonna fight more stuff like that?
It's gonna be like maybe like Greek Roman stuff.
Can you only be
Old
born if you
gods.
have like if the Amazon has sex with a god? Is that the only way?
I guess.
I forget. Was Wonder Woman a child of Zeus in the movie?
Yeah, but she was crafted from clay, so it wasn't like a natural birth.
Yeah, but in the movie,
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the daughter of Zeus technically.
she was
Given-
made from clay in the movie.
No, I don't
Yeah.
know from the movie. I mean, was it in the
Didn't
movie?
yeah? She says my mother. Remember when they're talking about like how babies are born, and she says my mother and Zeus crafted me from clay and breathed life into me. And he's like, okay.
All right, whatever. Falcon and Winter Soldier merchandise is leaking, and it looks like CIA agent Sharon Carter, who tried to steal her aunt's boyfriend, will be on the run. She's not forgiven for what she did in Civil War.
Okay.
So, Emily
Giving
Van
back their
Camp-
stuff.
Yeah. It seems kind of stupid, like with everything that happened, that they would be after
Yeah.
her, but whatever.
We gotta blame somebody, I guess. Everyone else is dead.
Richard E. Grant, if you remember, he was in Logan, and he was recently announced to be. He was like the evil professor in Logan.
Uh-huh.
He was recently announced to be in Loki, and everyone thought like he has to be an older Loki because he looks just like an older Loki, and it sounds like he's going to be classic Loki. So that suggests like a different universe or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, they're really yeah.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Kia. You know what I've been thinking a lot about? Like, every time I think about Ragnarok now, I just think about your version of it, where there's, like, different versions of Thor and Loki that just keep getting reborn and having to, like, go through Ragnarok again and again.
I think
I
it's
want-
too late for that.
It's too late, but my God, that would have been so much better.
Yeah. What can you say? The Batman spinoff loses its showrunner. So you guys remember there was like some Gotham PD show that was going to be made in the same universe as the Batman movie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Terrence Winter has left the show because of he clashed with filmmaker Matt Reeves and producers over his vision for the HBO Max show. So the show is technically
Okay.
called, or right now called Gotham Central. So we'll see what that means.
Okay.
Why does every movie that come out nowadays have to have, like, a show that goes along with it?
Because Marvel's doing it, and so they're just trying to keep up. We saw the new Justice League trailer, which I forgot to report on in the trailer section. But to be honest, there's almost nothing new in it except for like
yeah.
there's some new shots of things that we've already seen though. But anyway, I didn't care at all about this. It has the same song. It's basically the same footage, but like shorter. I don't know. The only thing is we saw an updated Steppenwolf look. And have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen the new trailer. I thought there was an issue, like, wasn't Hallelujah, like, copywritten or something?
Yeah, they fixed it. So, did you guys, neither one of you have seen Steppenwolf's new armor?
No.
No, I haven't
Well,
seen it
except for the first trailer where he looked a little different.
yet.
Yeah,
looked like he did
his
Batman v
armor,
Superman.
it just looks like he has, like, pins and needles. Like, his whole armor's made of, like, sharp, pointy things. And, yeah, I it's not even news to me. Like, it's new, people are talking about it, but it's, who cares? The biggest news is that Warner Brothers will release Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas Day in theaters and HBO Max, where
Yep.
it will be available for no extra charge.
Good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's crazy, though.
I think that's the right decision.
Yeah, because
though.
they realize they're gonna never get it out. Like, people don't give a hell if it
Well,
comes out in a
but
year or two.
I'm talking about the part where they're not charging extra for it.
I mean, it's consumer friendly, and they want people getting HBO Max. So,
So, but they're looking at what happened with Mulan, and they're going, they charged $30. We're going to charge nothing.
yeah, because their theory. Well, here's the thing: HBO Max is relatively new, isn't it? In
It's
terms of
HBO.
streaming
It's just HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, there's already a ton of streaming services out there. So like, if you were to say, "Hey, we want you to buy HBO Max and pay $30," a lot of people would be like, "Nah, fuck that," especially for Wonder Woman. Like, so
I
they're
mean, you
probably
could have a
banking
free
on, okay, we're gonna
trial
make it
for
free.
you could have a free trial for HBO Max, which I think you do, and then
Yeah,
you can just
7-day free
pay.
trial.
You can pay.
That's
for
what I'm
Wonder
gonna do. I'm gonna get a 7-day free trial and watch it for free. Hey, friendly to the consumer.
That's so bizarre because I don't really have a problem paying for it either, to be honest.
Well, I'll pay for certain things, but if I can get it for free, I'd rather get it for free. If they're gonna
Yeah, but
legally
I'm
say
just
take
saying,
it for free,
it's not about you. I'm saying like, what are they thinking in the market room? Because people will pay for that, and they're gonna lose a lot of money.
it's probably what you said about Disney Plus, plus what I'm saying about like they're trying to drive subscriptions.
But the thing about Mulan is, it's not like they had the option to put it in the theaters, and then they also decided to put it in on the streaming. They were not going to make money off of it unless they like put it out and charged for it.
Mm-hmm.
So here, they don't. They're kind of in the same boat, but they're choosing not to charge for it. So they're essentially giving the movie away. Also, when you put it on a streaming service, like what you're doing is, I think for a lot of people, you're making them feel like they could watch it at any time,
Yeah.
which isn't bad, but I feel like, let's just say it's not a superhero movie, but if it's like let's just say it's Tenet. I want to watch Tenet, but when it's out, like, because I can always watch it, I don't feel like I have to watch it right then. And so I probably won't. Like, I'll watch it whenever I feel like it, and maybe not at all.
Right.
And I don't know. I wonder why they made that decision. Did they have data from Disney that suggested like people who would have watched it didn't because they didn't want to pay for it?
I mean, maybe. You'd have to assume they have something that they're like banking on here.
Because HBO is not really more expensive than Disney Plus. Maybe they're just like, let's just see what people do.
Yeah, maybe.
And they're hoping for more HBO Max subscribers. I guess it's better to subscribe people than to have them pay a one-time thing.
Yeah. And well, the other thing is like maybe they're worried about Wonder Woman in general.
Oh, I found I think it's because of Tenet. Okay. So in any case, it looks like the studio has come to terms with Tenet's relatively disappointing box office performance and are willing to accept that a blockbuster theatrical run is simply not going to be possible in the current climate. Here's the quote. As we navigate these unprecedented times, we've had to be innovative in keeping our businesses moving forward while continuing to super serve our fans. This is an amazing film that really comes to life on the big screen, and working with our partners in the exhibition community, we will provide that option to consumers in the US where theaters are open. We realize that a lot of consumers can't go back to the movies due to the pandemic, so we also want to give them the option to see Wonder Woman 1984 via our HBO Max platform. It doesn't say why free though. Yeah.
I mean, they might be scared that it like Mulan got destroyed, dude. Like
It didn't get destroyed. It did well overseas, didn't it? Like, can we look at the gross?
I don't have it up. I can check.
Let's find out. I should still have my box office stuff bookmarked somewhere.
Overall movie gross for Mulan.
Said it made about 66 million worldwide.
I see 69 here.
Yeah, I see 69, but on a budget of 200 million.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Is even when you charge, you couldn't make it up.
Right, so maybe they're like, screw it, we need to just get subscriptions, because subscriptions, if people start getting subscriptions and keep them.
I guess I just can't believe that the corporate people would make that move. Because typically
they're probably terrified because everything's falling apart.
They don't choose money later over money now. Like that's not typically how corporations work. So that's
they're probably
crazy.
terrified because everybody's hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah. All right, well that's it. So you guys want to watch Venom next week or Into the Spider-Verse?
let's do Venom because before Ever Talks, I just want to finish. Let's do Venom because I think it'd be interesting talking about if Venom's ever going to be alongside Tom Holland, who we've just finished watching.
Yeah. All right, Venom next week.
Well,
all right, see you guys next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Iron Coop Fights Movies. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, review our podcast on iTunes so that we can spread the show around. To contact the show, you can reach us at theironcoob@gmail.com and on Instagram at theironcoob. Join us for another edition of the Iron Coop Fights Movies.